You guys just had an amazing interview. Share this out, you guys. Share this out, first of all. Like, share, copy. If you guys would like to help and donate, go right here on AmericanStreets.com. You'll find PayPal, Cash App, all the places where you guys can contribute to what I do, the footage I bring you, and all that good stuff. So check this out. Just had an amazing interview, about 20 minutes of just candid talk with Officer Brandon Tatum. And I asked him, I said, do you mind if I post this whole thing without it being chopped up, if I post it? He said yes. So you will have a complete, candid, like just authentic conversation of me and Brandon Tatum. I will post that because I did not live stream it because I wanted to respect him. So I will post that after this event. He's going to be here tonight. I'm going to live stream it as I'm doing now. We're just going to walk in there. He hasn't hit the stage yet because he just spent 25 minutes talking to me and my wife. It was awesome, just real. So you'll see the whole thing from beginning to end. Look forward to that. Look forward to seeing it either first thing in the morning or tonight. Complete, authentic, just candid, open, just talking, shooting it up, talking whatever. But you guys will get to see it. I will post it. You guys got to make sure you share that out along with this live stream. It's going to be a great evening. Yes, you can see I'm kind of casualed up, whatever. It is what it is. So, like I said, you guys, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, copy the link, share, like, heart, all that good stuff. So let's get in here and see at least the introductions and what's going to happen the rest of the evening.
I'll just be back up here in just a second.
If there's any music, I want to know how to mute it, though. You guys know that.
Many historians believe that the average life civilization is roughly 250 years. The United States, just this past summer, celebrated our 245th birthday. What that means is that this great nation has less than 5 years to make a very crucial choice. Are we going to dissolve at the hands of authoritarian progressivism and woke corporatism? Or are we going to rise up, stand for freedom, and pursue the liberties that have made this nation so special in the first place? We at Public Square are choosing freedom. We believe in a bright future for our nation.
There was music, you guys. There was music, so
check it out. It started in San Diego. So if you scroll to San Diego, you'll see what it can become here in Oregon. Because it's just gotten started. There's a few businesses that have been jumping on, and so feel free to check it out. If you know freedom-minded business owners, you yourself are a freedom-minded business owner, I'd love to chat with you, help you with that in any way. But I think it's important for us as a community to come together and to support the freedom-minded businesses here in town because, man, a lot of them have been struggling the last little bit. And if we, as a community of freedom-minded people, can come alongside them, we're going to do huge things for those who are conservatives here in the area. So, thanks again. With that said, I'm going to bring up the president of the Turning Point Portland Hub. Let's give it up for Harrison Luckock.
Portland Hub founder and president. And I just want to say thank you for all coming out and spending your Monday afternoon with us. Just a few announcements. The raffle prizes will be drawn at the end of the night. And there'll also be a meet and greet with Brandon, so you guys can all meet him. And he's got a new book coming out, and it's already out. It's called Beaten Back in Blue. So check that out. Tonight, this wouldn't be possible without the brave men and women that have served our country. And so I would like to ask all members of military, first responders, or firefighters, policemen, all those people, if you could stand up. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Well, now, our speaker is a former Tucson police officer. He is the CEO of 3 different companies. He's the co-founder of Blexit with the amazing Candace Owens. And he's the recipient of many invites to the White House by Donald Trump. Yeah! I'd like to introduce Brandon Tatum.
If you wearing some Big Tatum merch, raise your hand.
Oh, man. I got your book.
Get it together.
I got the book. I got the book.
Got the book?
Yeah, yeah.
I need the book.
All right. How y'all doing tonight? All right. So, I'm glad to be here. I'm very thankful. Oh yeah, there goes some merch right there. I see it. I'm very thankful and grateful to be here. I'm thankful for all of you guys attending and being here to come and hear me speak. This is an honor, a true privilege from God. And I really do appreciate God giving me the opportunity to turn my life around and be the man that I am today. So give a shout out to God. Many people probably don't know who I used to be, the way I used to act, how I used to look. I was a little skinnier, but I used to really have a different mindset, and I want to talk about that a little bit today. And I want to talk about the obvious, some of the things that we all are going through. I'm gonna do my little rant about that, and then I'm gonna give some solutions at the very end. All right, is that cool? I used to have gold teeth. I got Young Savage tattooed across my stomach, and my six-pack game was better. I'll probably show y'all as evidence. But me and my wife got pregnant together, okay? So still got a little baby fat to get off. But I grew up in a very, I would call it a violent environment, and my mindset was very different. I remember being in school and thinking that white people hated me. And I say that at a lot of my speeches because it is something that I think is incredible that God was able to turn my life around and turn my mind around in this particular instance. And when I got to college, coming from Dunbar High School in Fort Worth, the all-black school, it really opened my eyes because I was exposed to a different group of people that didn't turn out to be racist. I mean, nobody was racist against me in college. I mean, actually, I got more love than anybody else on campus. One, because I was a football player, but another was because I'm a good person and I treat people with respect. And it was incredible to see that the world wasn't racist like we thought it was. That people are generally speaking, people are just trying to make a living and try to become better people. In college, people are just trying to get an education, make a good grade. Nobody's worried about racism. Amen. And I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm just gonna go off on that for just a little bit. I think it's shameful that people in this country have painted us as if we're a racist nation.
Yes.
Most people I know, I deal with, I talk to, couldn't care less about the color of somebody else's skin. And for all the people who would argue that this is a racist nation, who find me a nation that's better than the United States of America. Amen. Find me a place that you can flourish in this country, come from having nothing to being as great as you want to be. Find me another place and I'll pay for your flight. I will pay for your ticket. It's my promise. Anybody got me? I will pay for your ticket to get up out of here. Yeah. Nobody's going to take me on that. Nobody's going to take me on that challenge. Not one person. None of these elitists, none of these millionaires and politicians who talk the most crap about our country, they would never go anywhere else and live. They'll never do it. This is a great country. We have fought from the very beginning together to make it what it is today. Whether you're black, Hispanic, whether you are Native American, whatever they want to categorize you as, we have always fought to make this a better place. Always. There was always people, even in the very beginning, when there was slavery, that never agreed with slavery. Never did. They always knew that it was an issue. And we worked together to get to this point. Martin Luther King and others fought so that we can look at each other and observe character and not the skin color. And even today when I think about Kamala Harris and all these clowns, how do we know what race some of these people really are? Half of these people are biracial. How do you get to just pick that you black? Because it comes with a level of virtue? In your mind? Why do you say that? I just went to my son's school in Seattle. And I was in the office and they gave me the paperwork that had a designation of him being black on the paperwork. His mom must have put in he's black. And I said, ma'am, how do you guys judge this? And she go, well, at the beginning when you registered for school, they put his race in there. And I thought that was interesting that his mom did that. Why would you say he's black? He's biracial. He's just as much a part of your family as he is my family. Amen. Why is it that we have to designate my son as being black? There's no virtue in that. Call it for what it is. And my son has a great experience. And a lot of people who are biracial have a great experience with being exposed to the best of both worlds. There's no reason for us to categorize people who are biracial as black. I actually hate that. It's not right. And if anybody know the history of that, it was because of white supremacists who wanted to keep the white race pure. So any drop of any race mixed with white was no longer white. And the crazy thing today is that the very same people who claim to hate white supremacists push that ideology. They're fighting white supremacy with white supremacy. They fight racism with more racism. The people out here screaming fascists, they're the fascists. They are the ones that are spewing hate and division. It's not us. Most of us, it may be somebody in here that may be different. I came here just to protest now. But most of us, that's not what we're about. That's not what this country is about. And I tell you what, I'm very proud to be an American. And I do not understand how people aren't proud to be an American. When I look at, we were just driving here. I don't know if y'all heard the story of how I got here. I almost missed the whole thing. let me tell you that. Let me just go back and then I'll talk about the travel here. Well, we get on a flight from Orlando because I had a speaking engagement in Orlando. We get on the flight. It was delayed. We had to connect the flight in DFW. And it was so far delayed that by the time we landed, the flight was already boarded. So we get to the airport and I kept my cool. Because I'm a Christian, okay? And I said, let me not blow up in the airport. Somebody may recognize me and Tatum ain't who you say he is. So I get there and I'm like, we're gonna be calm. Nick, my media guy, he's back there. Shout out to Nick. Y'all give Nick a round of applause. I drag him with me everywhere I go. But we missed the flight and I said, you know what, God, it is what it is. Whatever you want to happen is going to happen. If it's meant for me to be there, I'll be there. That girl, I mean, it was an emotional roller coaster. They booked this. First of all, the lady said, oh, you guys are booked for the next flight. Thank God I had a question to ask her, because come to find out she had the wrong name. And she booked somebody else and said it was us. And if we would have showed up, we would have missed the whole flight. They're on the computer scrambling. They say we're on one, we're not on one, but they got one of us on one, the other one is not. It was a mess, but I kept my composure. I said, God, you're going to make it happen. All of a sudden, 2 seats popped up on her computer. And she rushed and had her manager rush to book both of our seats. No flights to Portland. It was no flight to Portland. They said they're out until Tuesday. I said, oh my God, y'all, it ain't no way I'm driving from Texas to Portland. I just ain't gonna make it out. Forgive me. So, but then they had a flight to Seattle. And I said, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna take it. Give us the flight. We sat in DFW, or at least in Dallas Fort Worth. We ended up having to get a hotel for 8 hours till the flight left. We got to Seattle last night at midnight. And then we stayed in the hotel, and then we rented a car to drive down here, and we just got here probably at like 3 or 4. But I don't think that's any stretch of heroic behavior. I think that's what it takes if you really care about what you do, and you care about the people. As long as I got breath in my body and I can walk and I'm mobile and I can get a car, rent a car, put it on a credit card, as long as I can do that, there ain't nothing that's going to stop me from passing the message that God put in me to you. It's not going to happen. And so I want to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff because I was mad earlier. I made a video about it. Of Kyrie Irving. Did y'all see the situation with Kyrie Irving and KD standing up for him? Kevin Durant stood up for him in the press conference.
I watched it. Yep.
You know how okay, I'm in the church. You know how crazy it is and the power trip that people have with these masks? Do you understand how all of a sudden it's over? All of a sudden you don't have to wear a mask anymore. The signs have changed. Because election season is happening. That's what's happening. Don't let these people lie to you. Science ain't changing. I told you for a long time. Fauci said a long time ago that we shouldn't wear masks. It's ineffective, unintended consequences of touching your face and all this stuff. Y'all know how nasty these kids are. They boogers in there and snot and spitting. They ain't wash their hands, wash their booty in about 2 or 3 days. The least they're worried about is a mask. But they got these snotty nosed kids got masks on all day. Fingernails dirty, but they got a mask on. It's crazy to me what has happened. Kyrie Irving stood up and said, I'm not getting vaccinated. And that guy, to a certain degree, is sort of heroic. I say sort of because it's easy to play when you got $20 million or something. But I mean, he is playing with potentially losing his contract of billions of dollars. Some people won't take a stand for $35 an hour, whatever the case may be, whatever the money is. But he's risking millions of dollars, his reputation, to stand up for what he believes. And the funny thing is that he's on the right side of this. Thank God he stood up for himself, because now they have nothing to go off of. And instead of them admitting that he was correct, they have to stand their ground and say, you can come to the game unvaccinated, no mask on, but you can't play in the game. He sits on the court, hugging everybody, touching them, kissing them on the cheek, but he can't play in the game. This is not about health and safety and all this other stuff. This is about control. All the vaccine stuff. Now, people that have been triple and quadruple vaxxed and quadruple boosted, if you want to do that, that's up to you. That's fine. It's America. You can get quadruple vaccinated if you want to. I don't care.
You can have all mine.
You can do it. You can do all the vaccines that you would ever think I would get. You can get them all. Take one of my son to get vaccinated. You can take all his. I don't care. It's America. You can do whatever you want to do. But for them to force people to be vaccinated, these people were losing their jobs. Some people probably committed suicide. They don't have the record of that. They lost everything because they were forced to do something that they didn't believe in. Some people lost their lives. They don't want to tell you that. People having heart complications, blood clotting. And then we still don't know what the residual effect of these vaccines are going to be in 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, 6 years from now. Combination of that with other things. When they shut everything down, people who should have had surgery, should have gone in and looked at some cancer that was growing, they postponed that. And now people are having effects of that. It was all bullcrap from the very beginning, in my opinion. We knew at the very beginning that it was people with comorbidities, people who were elderly, were struggling the most to survive with getting sick from COVID or getting sick with COVID. We knew it from the very beginning. We should have supported those who fell in that category. There's not one politician that I know that died from COVID. I don't think, if there one? No. How many NBA players have died from COVID? How many NFL players have died from COVID? It's funny that none of the people in the mainstream, in the limelight, have died from COVID, in the most part. And some of the people that have, we don't know if they actually died from COVID or they just died with COVID. Yeah. They were categorizing people who had died and they had COVID in their system, whether they were asymptomatic or not. They were categorizing them as a COVID death. This has been a disgrace on our country. And it makes me sick to my stomach to think about it. Me and Nick in the airport, we don't wear a mask in the airport. We do it to get on the plane. I got to tell that story. We get on the plane. He has a Biden sucks mask. He has the freedom to say what he wants. He has the freedom to say, well, I don't care if somebody had a Trump sucks mask. I don't care. I mean, I could care less. You don't pay my bills or nothing. I don't care what you pay. But we flew around the whole country. We've been flying forever. But when we went from DFW to Seattle, that flight, the lady stopped him and said, wait. Sir, you can't wear that mask. It may be offensive to other people. Because we're Christians, we didn't blow up on these people. But we had a conversation with her. We said, well, wait a minute now. Where does it say that you can't wear a Biden sucks mask? Oh, well, it's in the mask. No, does it say Biden sucks on it? No, you're saying you can't wear a mask that's offensive. That is your subjective opinion, isn't it? No, it's in the mandate. No, it's not. It's not in there. There is nothing that says what specific. You are making a judgment call to say this may be offensive. Did anybody complain to you? No. So who was offended by this? You. She didn't want to admit it. And I said, if we had a Trump suck, would you make us do? All right, I'm not. I don't care if it's Trump or not. Yeah, you do. Me and Nick we should do a test run. I have Trump sucks and he have Biden sucks. And see who they stop. The only reason I'm hesitant, because somebody that follows me is going to see me and be like, Big Tatum, you said you were a test run. I'm doing a test run. But I guarantee you nobody would say nothing if you said Biden sucks. Nobody would say nothing to him. I mean, and Trump sucks. Nobody would say nothing to him. So it's a continuation of this big lie that they tried to sell us. We in the airport, all these people got masks on, 3, 4 masks. Don't you trust the science? They released the mandate in Seattle, for sure. I don't know if they done it here in Oregon. They didn't hear it. Y'all in the game. 2 days ago? Friday? God bless you guys. Welcome to America.
Washington's our leader. We got to follow them.
Oh, y'all follow Washington, yeah. The feckless leaders that we have in these states. But yeah, I mean, now people still wearing it. You're like, well, wait a minute. I thought you trusted science. The CDC says that it's not effective for you to wear it anymore, but you got to wear it anyway. Why? Because you can't admit that you've been fooled this whole time. You can't admit that you bashing all of your family members all of this time, calling them super spreaders and idiots and don't want to invite them to the dinner, that they were right. And that all they had to do was hold off for a little bit until the election come and everything would go away. We haven't heard about COVID. They got these NBA, NFL, NCAA championship, Pro Bowls, full of people not vaccinated. Full of people going into the stadium. It's over. Because it's election season.
Yeah. And
as soon as they get some power back, they're going to have it back. It's going to be another variant.
There you go.
They're going to add another variant. But we have to stay strong. And I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you and tell you to do something that I wouldn't do. I'm privileged to a certain degree because I work for myself. So I'm not going to fire myself for not being vaccinated, wearing a mask. But you have to do what's best for you. And at some point, you got to take a stand.
Amen.
And you got to find what hill you're willing to die on in this country. Why? It's because people have literally died for our freedom. Some of us are afraid to lose friends over freedom. People have died. They've gone off of the American soil. They've left. They've gone to foreign countries, foreign lands, knowing that they're never coming back. Can you imagine that? Being an 18-year-old man, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, and having to convince yourself in your mind, or having to realize in your mind that you ain't never coming back to see your family. And you're gonna die on a soil, on a soil that's unfamiliar to you, in hopes that the people still at home do the right thing. That's bravery, that's courage. And we should all look at those individuals that have died for us, that we have the record of them. It's not a myth. People actually died for our freedoms. That we should look at that and say, what can I do today to preserve our freedoms? Right now, we're fortunate that we don't have to die over it, but you can lose a friend over it. You can get another job over it.
Yeah.
You have to have faith in God. In many situations I've been faced with having to make tough decisions. And every single time I say, I'm gonna put my faith in God. I don't know where it's gonna take me. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna put my faith in God. And when you do that, when you try God, when He come through, you now have something to draw from. So now when I take chances, I take a lot of chances. Ask Nick, he bring Nick up, he see it, he live, he there. I take chances, but I've already seen God perform. I know that God will provide if I'm doing what is right. And so we all have decisions to make in our lives, but we have to trust God in everything that we do. When the going gets rough, when it gets tough, we have to put our faith in God. No more playing church. That's what I say. No more playing church.
Yeah.
Some of these preachers today have sold out.
Yes,
They sold out.
Yep.
They are looking at you as dollar signs. They ain't thinking nothing about the Holy Spirit. They don't care nothing about your salvation. They're looking at dollar signs. They say the wrong thing to the black group, they're gone. They say the wrong thing to the white group, they're gone. And that means their bottom line is not met, and they may have to shut their church down. What happened to your faith in God?
Yep.
What happened to you standing on truth? You know, they left Jesus too. How you gonna worship a God and you afraid to lose people, but the God that you worship lost people? People stop following Jesus when He started telling the truth. They loved when He was doing the miracles. When people get up there and they sing, they play good music, and they do the little healing stuff. People love it. They show up at church every Sunday. When they tell you everything's gonna be all right, you're gonna make $1 million, name it and claim it, and show up day every day. But when they tell you that this life may not be easy for you, that you may go through trials and tribulations, that you may want to give up, you may be treated unfairly in this life. You may go to the grave never seeing the fruits of what you have prepared. Your hard work, your dedication, you may never see it. You may never reach the goals that you always had in mind, the person that you wanted to be, you may never see it. That don't mean that you've done it for no reason. That means that somebody else may benefit from the sacrifice you made. You may not get it on this side.
Yeah.
That's not the gospel that they want to tell you.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt a little bit. When you have to be strict on people. I remember I had a child out of wedlock at church, and I had to sit out the choir, I had to apologize to the church, everything. For you young people in here, get married first. Get married first. I'm not just running my mouth. It is a lifetime of pain when you don't do what God told you to do. But I had to sit down. They call it sit down at the Holiness Church. I had to sit out the choir and everything. And it hurt, and I deserved it. Why? I had no business doing something that God had told me that I shouldn't have been doing. And when somebody tell you the harsh truth of the gospel, people leave. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear the fun times. Well, Jesus, I don't think that was fun for him or the apostles. They knew that their reward was in the end. They knew that their reward was in heaven. Jesus didn't do nothing wrong. He preached the gospel. He stood up for what was right. And they beat him over it. They berated him. How many of y'all get, when you telling the truth and You're a good person, and people just crap on your character. Oh, yeah. They lie on you. Oh, I don't want them to come to our party. They right-wing conspiracy, they racist. It hurt, don't it? I mean, keep it real. It hurt a little bit. Like, dang, I'm a good person. I try to do what's right. Why would somebody think that about me? Especially a person like me, I look at the comments, people say all kind of crazy stuff to me. I'm a white supremacist. I'm choking a job for the white man. I'm like, dang. That hurt my feelings. I thought you was my friend. But then I start to think about Christ, and I say, his own apostles. His ride or die. They were his dogs. And when it came to crunch time, they were gone. Peter said, I don't know that man. I ain't never heard of him. I don't know him. He died by himself. They beat him all the way to the cross. He didn't do nothing wrong. How much more should you be able to endure when we don't even have to endure death by the cross? Just a little hurt feelings here and there. Just a couple people not liking you today. Just a couple people unfollowing you on social media. Compare that to what Christ went through. The government lied on him just like there's a fraudulent government that we face, that we in today. They lied on him. But Christ endured so that, not for him necessarily, but so you can have freedom. And why do we do what we do today? It's not just for us. It's that the next generation can be free. There's a part of this that's about you, right? You want to live the best life you can have, but it's about your kids. It's about some of these young people that you see in the room that are going to have to live in this country. And when you're older, I'm not going to say old, when you're older than you are today, and you limping around, barely hanging on, back ain't working right, knees ain't what they used to be. Somebody, he knows these legs must be hurting. When it ain't what it used to be, I feel like I'm 34 years old. I'm like, man, my back ain't used to hurt like this. I was racing. I'm going to pull my hamstring the other day, racing Bryson Gray. Y'all know Bryson Gray? Yeah. Me and him pulled up. We didn't even stretch. He looked at me. I looked at him. I said, well, let's go then. You said beat me in the race. I had my boots on and a suit. Took out. Hamstring started heating up. So I better slow down. I ain't what I used to be. But when you get up and you get older, you're going to have to answer to these young people, what did you do? Why you had to fight it? Don't preach to them now. Stand up for what's right. What were you doing when you were younger? What were you doing when they were trying to take over our country? Now, don't get discouraged because you're not a public speaker or something major that people may think that you have all these followers. That ain't the point. What did you do with what God gave you to do? That's what it is. A person with a platform like myself, I'm a failure if I don't do right by what God did for me. Not what you or anybody else, or Candace owns, or anybody else. What God planned for me, I will fail if I don't do the work that he started in me. Everybody have a work that God started in you. That's why you're here today. That's why you're alive. That's why you woke up this morning. Because God had something for you. And you have to take the responsibility of finding out what that is, whatever it is. And you pursue it with all you got. Don't worry about what mama and them say. For y'all young people in here, I don't want to say this in front of your parents. Just hear me, don't respond. But that's what happened to me back in the day. You slapped me in church. And so don't get slapped up in the church. But hear me out. Hear me out. God has put an idea in your heart. Yes. And nobody understands it but you, because it's for you. Nobody's supposed to understand it because God ain't gave it to them. They don't have what it takes to get to that point. But everybody has that. Don't deny that voice. Don't reject that voice. Don't be afraid of what God has called you to do. And I want everybody to understand that. Because I had a point in time in my life where I had to make that decision. I didn't want to leave being a police officer. I had a retirement plan. I had benefits. I loved being a cop. It was fun. I don't care what nobody tell you. I was going code 3, running down bad guys. It was fun. I jump out the car. They didn't know what was coming. I'm like, I played safety in college. I'm gonna get you. I mean, God is my witness. I wish I had body on camera. I caught a couple dudes. They're like, dang, man, he's fast. I said, pride. That's a bigger shirt. Pride in the stride. I'll run them down, man. I had fun too. And we may have to tussle a little bit, but when they get in the car, I speak life to them. I talk to them about Christ too. I talk to all the time. I don't care what they tell me. I'm gonna talk about Jesus. I remember I had a girl. She was young. She was probably in her 20s. She had fake teeth in her mouth because she had such a hard life using drugs and everything. Her real teeth fell out. She had to get dentures. Young girl. She was a prostitute. And I remember I had to arrest her. I hated when I had to arrest her, put her back in the car. She gave a little bit of a struggle. But when she was back there, I preached the gospel to her. I said, God wants something better for you.
Yes.
This ain't the end.
Yes.
It's the beginning. You need to wake up in the back of this car. This is the last time I want to see you. Unless you're at the church or you're changing your life. But I enjoyed being a police officer. I loved it. It was great. I was a freaking hero. I'm not lying, I was a hero. I thought I had a cape on sometimes. Do like this before I sit in this roll car. I thought I had a cape. I saved a young girl from jumping on. She was like 14 or 15, 16, I can't remember. She was going to jump over. Anybody in for Tucson? Nobody in Tucson? Yeah, it's far away from here. Don't go there. So in Tucson, Arizona here. In Tucson, there's a Miracle Mountain right in front of the substation. There's this overpass that goes over the railroad tracks. It's like a 40, 50-foot drop. It's huge. The girl was hanging over the edge. Her legs were hanging off. And normally when people want to take their own lives and they call, they won't help. When they don't call, they've already committed. And you got to save them or it's over. Her legs were hanging off the edge. I was the only cop in the area. I just so happened to be right there from the substation. They called it out on the radio. I pulled up, and it was like a game time, man. I looked. I said, either I'm going to save her, or I'm going to watch her drop all the way to the bottom. And people don't realize that if she drops to the bottom, I don't get to just go home and act like it never happened. I have to go down there. And to see a young girl in a position like that, that's gonna change me forever. I'm gonna never forget that. And I said, God, give me the grace, ability, whatever I need to save this young girl's life. I pulled up, parked my car, and it was on. I walked up, I said, I'm not gonna make a noise. When I get to a certain point, I'm going for it. I ain't no second guessing or nothing. I just hope that we both gonna fall over the edge. And I remember getting up close to her, and I just launched at her, and I hooked her like this. Grabbed her over the edge. We both fall over. I picked her up. I hugged her. I said, everything gonna be all right. I took her to the mental health facility, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. And I got a whole bunch of stories like that. I got some crazy kids in here. I don't want to mess y'all lunch up and stuff. But I got some crazy stories that I've been through, but I loved every minute of it. I felt like that's what God called me to do. Amen. Even though when I was younger, I hated police. I got arrested at 9 years old for smoking marijuana in a vacant house. I'll never forget that. And we messed with my cousin and got us caught up. I'll never forget there was 7 of us. I was the youngest at 9. My cousin was 10, my brother was 11, and all the way up to 17 was the oldest cousin. We in there smoking weed, and the funny thing is, I quit smoking weed at 8, 9. I quit. I was smoking weed when I was 7. My cousin, I was my blunts. I mean, y'all know what blunt is? Not the little stuff.
Never inhaled.
Never inhaled. You never inhaled? I was dizzy. I used to think my lips was always good. I thought my lips was this big. I don't know what I was thinking. That's why I can't remember nothing today. My brain cells wrong. But, yeah, I got caught up. I remember they kicked in the door. They came in like the SWAT team, man. It was crazy. They had guns through the window. They came through the front door. They had guns on us. And they put us out. They put 6 of us in a patrol car together before they took us to the parking lot to the survey. But we thought we were going to jail like that. 5 of us across. They laid one guy over the top of us. We were all handcuffed. And I remember they called us sardines. We were so offended. Oh, man, racist cop called us sardines. We did look like sardines. They had us packed in there real good. Think about 5 kids across, and the backseat of the patrol car, look, we were packed like this. And then they laid the one guy over the top of us. Now, as a former cop, I know that was funny, boy. They probably laughing. Look, the knuckleheads. Then they get us to the thing. They took us to a parking lot, separated us 3 by 3, which thank God. And then we just knew they weren't gonna call my daddy. Right? They're gonna call my cousins, them parents, and we're gonna forget this ever happened. This ain't never happened. Because my daddy is a maniac. We get to the substation. I see Mr. Tatum coming there like he was Hulk Hogan. Get up there, I'm gonna kill him. God is my witness. I'm in the church. My dad said, I'm going to kill them in the thing. Me and my brother like, nah, I hope they leave us in here. I'd rather spend the night. Like, how y'all going? He just said he's going to kill us. Ain't y'all the police? Y'all witnessing attempted murder right now. My daddy confessing to a crime. Because I don't know about some of y'all, man, we should get whoopings, boy. Them daddies tear us up. Sometimes for no reason, too. I'm like, Daddy, it wasn't even me. Get it anyway. Because it's probably something else you did that I didn't catch you on. There's no time to shine. So we used to get whoopings, and I thought my dad was going to whoop me, man. I thought he was going to tear us up. I thought that was the end of our lives, man. That was going to be the butt spanking that I never recovered from. Try to put your hands back there, that wasn't going to work this time. Y'all get a whooping like that? It's like a merry-go-round. Man. We go in a circle. It was so emotional. It was like the end of the world. Daddy, no! And I used to try to cry real hard to make him feel bad. It didn't work. I'm like, man, all right, that's enough. Used to be, you know, some of y'all young people still get whoopings in there. I hate it, won't be done. I used to say that about my dad, I won't be done. That was crazy. But anyway, I thought we were going to get towed up from the floor up. And when we were in the car, my dad said something that was incredible. He was like, hey, I love basketball. I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. He said, you will never play in the NBA if you don't change the way you act. And that was worse than a whooping. I was like, man, I really want to play in the NFL. I mean, the NBA. I want to be just like Michael Jordan. And that really changed my life. And again, I had these negative ideologies about policing. But I felt like God had called me to do it. I did a ride along with Sean Payne. Some of y'all probably heard the story. Sean Payne, an incredible police officer. He was my hero. I remember we did that ride along, first call, we changed the flat tire of an elderly woman. I said, this is a cakewalk. I don't know what people make me cops. You know, I watch the show Cops, I'm like, I could do this. Oh no. The next call was a suicidal subject. We went code 3, license siren, 70, 80 miles per hour down a residential street. We almost died like 3 or 4 times because people don't know how to move to the right. Why y'all get crazy? I'm like, we driving up, you see the lights, and they just, what you looking for? Get over. They like calling people. What are you calling somebody for? I'm a former friend. Get out the way. Like, we just doing this just to be playing. Like, we got somewhere to be. We almost crashed a couple times. We get to the apartment complex. And I remember they couldn't find a unit at first. So, oh my God. They didn't even tell me what to wear. It's supposed to be professional when you're going around. I got a tall tee on. That's back when they were popular. T-shirt way down here and sweatpants. And I'm running behind the police. People looking, they're like, what is he doing? I look stupid. I was embarrassed. I thought I'm sitting in the car the whole time. I'm running around with them. We finally found a unit, and they kicked the door in. They let me stand off to the side while they do that, and then I was able to walk in and see what was going on. They saved that young man's life, and it was amazing. I remember Sean Payne got back in the car, we resumed our conversation, and I was just like, I couldn't even think. I said, I can't believe what you just did, brother. The drive over here, I'm still thinking about the drive. Not long, kicking in the door and a kid covered in blood. And I said from that point on, and I asked him, I said, y'all do this every day? He goes, we do this every day. What do you mean? I'm like, oh my God. Stuff just got real for me. Because I used to think these athletes were heroes. I mean, nothing against them. They work hard or whatever. I'm like, this dude is a freaking hero. He put his life on the line every day like this. 365 days. That's a lot of days. And you don't work 365 days in 1 year, but y'all get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You work, you're doing this every day. I said, man, I want to be a hero like Sean. And then I continued the process. I was in the process of becoming a police officer, and I went through the academy. And I'll tell you what, I'll never get pepper sprayed ever again. Anybody ever got pepper sprayed again? Some of y'all look like y'all. How did you get pepper sprayed? Who is this pepper sprayed? Your parents here?
No.
Good. How did you get pepper sprayed?
I was a police cadet.
All right, good. Thank God. I thought I'm gonna mess this whole career up. See, I was drunk at a party. I'm like, tell me that. Nah, but it was horrible. That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm not gonna lie. They should do it real good in there. Two seconds. They spray you for 2 seconds. Y'all see the little clip they just right over the eyes? No, they didn't. They had no mercy on us. 2 seconds. And if you didn't spray your partner for 2 seconds, they re-sprayed him for 2 seconds. And I will never forget this. I was with this Marine. We partnered up. We were the 2 biggest dudes there. His name was Drain. Big old black dude. Left, right, left. He was there, everybody, formation, everything. He had it down. He's the baddest dude, and I was the second baddest. I can admit to that. So I pepper sprayed him 2 seconds. I promise I did. And they said, no, Drain, hold on. No, you didn't get you good enough. They pepper sprayed for 2 more seconds. And so he got pepper spray running off his face, just dripping. And he starts on the thing, because we had to do an obstacle course after you get pepper spray. He starts and he stops. Like, I hear 5 steps in. I said, oh my God, I ain't gonna make it. If he's doing that, and he's the baddest dude here, I'm gonna die. I thought about quitting. I was like, I'll just walk off. They can't stop me. I always go back to Verizon Wireless while I was I feel bad for him, because I was like, I promise I sprayed it. And I thought he was gonna fight me after it was over, because I swear I sprayed him right the first time. But we go through that, of course, I get sprayed, and I'm in a full pain. My eyes are closed for 45 minutes straight. It's unbearable pain for about 45 minutes, unbearable. I had a little fan that I bought. I was smart. I bought a fan I just had on my face the whole time. Like, God help me, I'm never doing this again. I don't want to be a cop no more. They better not put this on the gun belt. I promise. And so the academy was tough, man. But I grew a lot in the academy. The funnest moments of the academy was when they taught us how to shoot and how to drive. That was a blast. I've never driven like that in my life. I was tearing them little cars up on the obstacle course, just gutting them out. And we learned how to do a J-turn. Y'all know what a J-turn is? Raise your hand if you know what a J-turn is. See, some of y'all you go backwards as fast as you can, you whip the wheel, and they go, oh, I was J-turning all day. I almost did it out duty one time, but I was like, nah. What I look like going to jail. I got to tell y'all 2 other stories. Believe it or not, I had a warrant for my arrest as a cop.
Wow.
I almost had my driver's license suspended while I was a cop. And let me tell you how that happened. Because I know y'all like, how in the world did that happen? The day before, me and one of my partners, we were arresting this guy. He was like, I guess he said he didn't know he had a warrant. I'm like, how you not going to know you had a warrant? You know you had a warrant. I was talking trash to him. The next day, Denton County sheriff called me. And I thought they were trying to recruit me. They called my dad. I thought they were trying to recruit me to go to the department. I'm like, I see. I listen to him. I hear him out. When I got on the phone with him, he said, you have a warrant for your arrest in Denton County. And I said, wait a minute. Hold on, bro. I'm a cop. You know that right now. Like, I'm currently a cop. How do I have a warrant for my arrest? Well, in 2010, I was taking my little brother to school in Denton, and I was going fast. And in Texas, they don't play about the seatbelt. In Arizona, it's a secondary violation. You don't have a seatbelt on, you have to do another violation. In Texas, the dude was on the freeway. I'm going by him. He was on the traffic stop. He go. And I remember driving by and said, ain't no way. He's in the middle of the traffic stop, and I'm going by 80. Oh, he came after me back. He was flying up, I couldn't believe it. I didn't even stop at first. I was like, oh no, there's no way. I'm gonna get over one lane, there's no way he's coming for me. Oh, he was coming for me. Gave me a ticket, told me it was $25 ticket, so I said, I ain't never paying that. It was actually $125. He didn't tell me that. And it actually turned into a warrant if I didn't pay it. And somehow in my background investigation, they missed it. So my daddy helped me out, paid for my little warrant. And then I found out, because my grandmother, I didn't tell y'all this story. I'm not going to go down in the story book. My grandmother is really young. If you do the math, my grandmother is 12 years older than my aunt. For some of you who know what that means. So she was 12 when she had my aunt. She was 11 when she was pregnant with my aunt, which is out of control. And of course, it was not, it was against her will. But my grandmother can't read because back when she was going to school, if you got pregnant, you couldn't finish school. You couldn't go to school to be pregnant. So she couldn't read. So they sent a letter to my grandmother's house. My grandfather could read because he was in the military. So he reads the letter over the phone. I'll never forget. He got this crazy deep voice. He's like, the city of Tucson says your driver's license will be suspended. And I'm like, suspended driver's license? If you don't go down and call this number or whatever. Long story short, they were a day from suspending my driver's license as a police officer.
Oh my gosh.
I was cutting up. Oh my God. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting story. Back to what I was talking about. I loved it. Great career. I finished strong. FTO was good. High-speed pursuit in phase 3 of my FTO. Saw a murder the 3rd day on the job. Dead body 1st day on the job. And I didn't know they made us touch the bodies, right? I was a cop. I'm like, I'm just writing a report. They're like, nah. OME was like, nah, you got to help us put him in the bag. I said, well, wait a minute.
What?
He been there for a couple weeks. He don't look like he gonna bend up and put it in the bag. And the OME guy just grabbed his arm, put it in there, and it popped him. He said, and then it was kind of cruel. He said, he can't feel it. Sure, whatever. They won. I was done there. Y'all didn't tell me we gotta touch the head people and stuff. They won. And then, I get through the academy. I get through the FTO, which is field training. So you have to go through months of your application process, which is a 44-page document you have to fill out. They call everybody and your mama that they know. And then you have to go through the academy. Our academy was 17 weeks. Texas Police Academy like 6 months. So you go through that, you go through post-basic academy, which is 8 weeks. And then once you finish post-basic, you go to FTO, which is 22 weeks of field training. So you got to think police officers go through almost a year worth of rigorous training every single day. So it's not like they just wake up one day and become a cop and everything, It's a process. The background investigation is strenuous. You got a polygraph test, you got a psychological evaluation, which is a 1,000-question test that you got to take that you can't fake because it's 1,000 questions, and they trick you and they'll find you if you crazy most of the time. I don't know how these people get through that test. And then you go through FTO, and you have a person. I became an FTO, but you have a person that's sitting there grueling you while you learn how to be a cop. Because as soon as you get out of the police academy, you don't know, everything is zero again. You have no idea what you're doing. You get out there. I remember the first day on the job, they had this suspicious car going this way. I'm waiting at the light. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, the light is red." "You the police!" Turn around right here, do a U-turn. I'm still thinking like, I don't want to go to speed limit. Turn a U-turn. You know how embarrassed I was? I'm like, okay. We're gonna do this. Stop him. It's weird. It's weird having power like that when you're a cop. You come from being a regular person, an everyday citizen, to now you have the authority to pull people over, take them to jail. It's very weird. Anyway, after FTO, it was great, man. I became a spokesperson for the police department. I had 2 years on the police department. All that racism went right out the window. Oh, I thought the country was racist. They had a black man up there talking for a police department that's Hispanic and white. It's because I was good at talking, believe it or not. I know you guys can see it. They did at the time. But anyway, I went through that. I was on the SWAT team. It was a tremendous experience. Being on the SWAT team, it was great. I never did any cool stuff because I was new. I had to drive. Driving was fun. But I didn't get to force entry in the doors and stuff like y'all see on movies. I didn't get to that point. Most people on the SWAT team, you got to do a couple years before you get on the entry team. But throwing a couple flashbangs and driving the guys and pulling them, backing it up, they didn't come out right, backing it up. We're backing the truck up so they can jump off and blow everybody up. And driving and doing hits at Costco was fun. We did it right in the parking lot. We had a minivan, and it said soccer mom or something on the back. It's all tinted out. If you paid enough attention, the front windshield's tinted. But it's like a little soccer mom van, and it's like 8 of us in there, just tapped out. And the faces that people make when you jump out on them, and they don't know if we're terrorists, they don't know if we're Border Patrol, we had green on. I'll never forget the Jamaicans that we jumped out on at Costco. It was crazy. I think one of them peed himself. Because you gotta think, they need to do a drug deal, they sitting in there, they doing their thing, they on the side of Costco thinking everything good. No, it ain't. Just sold to an undercover, here we come. And it be Tatum driving, baby. I'm driving up, and it's a technique that we use to pull up, and you can't hit the bumper of the other car. You gotta pull up right before the bumper. You can't stop too hard because everybody on the team will fall in the car. So I pull up, I stop, they get out, they jump out, we throw flashbangs, which is explosives. It's going off, their eyes are this big, dreads flying in the air. It was an amazing experience. But anyway, did the SWAT team. I did everything. I trained people in the academy, and one day I decided to think about politics, which was the best decision of my life. Y'all have a chair? Can I sit down? All right, you got it.
There's a stool behind you.
Oh, stool behind me. Y'all already prepared. Put my pants on real. These used to fit right. I know, right?
Got some space.
They used to be thin. Now they skinny because I'm fat. 1 second. Hold on. I feel like a comedian. You see nobody help me or nothing, guys. I almost put the mic. So, but I decided to get political. Look at this thing that fell off. Lord help us. I decided to get political because I had looked at my check one day. I said, oh my God. They said I was going to make $21.88 an hour. That means I can get a new car, I get unlimited data plan, all that other stuff. And then I saw the taxes come out. I said, oh my God. What do I need to do? Who do I need to vote for to get these taxes mitigated? And that's when I started getting into politics, and all the guys in the police department were conservatives, believe it or not. They were all conservatives, and they used to always tell me, they said, "B. Tatum, you ain't a Democrat." And I say, "Yeah, I am. Barack Obama, they for the people." But they said, "Nah, bro, like, think about your values and think about the values of the Democrat Party. You believe in God, don't you? You believe in pro-life, right? You don't believe in same-sex marriage and all the stuff that they push. That's not what you believe. That's not what your faith tells you, correct?" I said, yeah, well, that's not the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party is the party of slavery, Jim Crow, all of the things that they claimed that the Republicans did. That was the Democrat Party. I said, you got to be lying to me, bro. My whole life was a lie. It can't be so. Then I see people like Larry Elder just ripping it. And I'm like, dang, it is true. I need to start really evaluating the way I think. Then Barack Obama, shout out to Barack Obama. Thank you, Barack, for screwing yourself and allowing me to become a Republican. It's like every time I say Barack, everybody's true colors is coming out. Now, Barack Obama, I'm thankful that his true colors came out because I would have still been a Democrat. But he was bashing police and talking trash about, the Cambridge Police Department. They acted stupidly, and then when it came out that they didn't, he never came back to retract or nothing. Trayvon Martin could have been my son. Really, Rock? Your son ain't running around with Skittles and iced tea at 11 o'clock at night. It ain't your son. Unless you got Secret Service running behind him. That ain't your son. You mixed. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here. That ain't your son. Your son wouldn't be like that. You would raise your son better than that, right? And I'm not saying Trayvon Martin was at fault, generally speaking. I mean, that other dude was a fool. I mean, he was trying to be run a cop like nobody business. And then doing something he shouldn't have done, started getting his butt kicked, and then he had to shoot the kid. Which, that's my opinion. Y'all may share a different opinion. But, now they lost what I was talking about. Trayvon Martin, Barack Obama. There you go. Barack Obama said that, and I said, man, I will never support any politician that won't stand up for men and women that wear the uniform ever again. I'll never support somebody like that. I don't care. I would support a person. And I moved on. I said, you know what? I'm gonna look at these Republicans. I was raised, they were racist white people, and now I'm seeing the light. Let me just see what's out there. Ben Carson. How many of you guys like Ben Carson? I love Ben Carson, man. Ben Carson was the man, smart, intelligent. He was just a little too sleepy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody should have gave him an energy drink or something. Man, you gotta have some power. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I loved it anyway. Then he dropped that and endorsed Trump. I was like, what's going on here? I thought Trump was playing. Mr. Toupee, I thought he was playing. Because, he's a billionaire. What do he need to be the president? I thought he was just getting his name out there, talking a little trash, exposing to the world how feckless these leaders are and how whack they are, and getting people to really challenge and see who they're going to vote for. But no, he didn't. He hung in there. He's still going. I went to a rally in Tucson, and it blew my mind. Trump was saying all the same things that I love and I appreciate. Talking about securing the border, pro-police, pro-God. I said, man, this dude kind of sick. He kind of makes sense. He really got a chance. And so after that point, I supported Trump, and I voted for him in the 2016 election. And my life changed a little bit because all of my friends, I gotta realize you can pick your friends. They lead you over some politics, ain't your friends. All of my friends trash me. Look at that N-word lady at church. I'll never forget, Sister Sia. I didn't even know Sister Sia cussed. She sent me a message, you ain't nothing but another N just like the rest of us N's. I'm like, Sister Sia. I told my pastor, Bishop, you see what she said? I didn't know she cussed. She cussed me out because I supported Trump. I'm like, what are y'all thinking? And a lot of things changed for me. And that's why I feel like it's relatable for all of us, because many of us who came out, even if you were already a conservative, you supported Trump, people came out against you.
Yeah.
People came out against you. And the landscape of politics began to intensify. I kept telling the truth. My audience began to grow, and I've been speaking all around the country. I mean, I've spoken at probably 30 universities at this point. I consider this a university event. I've spoken in Portland before. I don't know, this is right outside of Portland, right? What city is this? Tiger, yeah. So I've spoken here before, and God has really opened up this opportunity for me. And this is why I tell you guys, you got to follow what God has purposed in your life. Because it's all about fear, that good pension. Oh, I'm going to pay the rest of my life. They said the rest of my life. I was trying to live a long time. They're going to pay me forever. I think I could retire at 42. I was going to be able to retire at 42. I would have soaked that city. I would have lived to 100. It's going to be broke messing with me. But, dad, benefits, all of the security that I had, I always felt that you have to work for somebody and make a living, but to become an entrepreneur was a scary thing. Even to this day, it's very challenging. I just acquired a warehouse. We have our headquarters in Scottsdale. It cost me a lot of money to do that, and I'm hoping to God that it works. And if it don't, I gotta take this shot. But you follow the dreams that God has purposed in you. All right? I thought sitting down would make a good thing, but now it's weird kind of sitting down. I'm gonna have to stand up in a minute. But I want to thank you guys for coming here, listening to me, listening to my testimony. I want to open it up to Q&A. Okay? I think that's the most fun. I tell a little bit of my story, talk a little bit to you guys, have you laugh a little bit, and then I want to hear from you. What are the questions that you want to ask me? Subjects that you want me to address? I know somebody here is like, if I met Brandon Tatum, this is what I would ask him. So here's your time. I'm here for you as long as y'all want to ask questions, as long as they got the facility. I'm going to be here to ask questions, and at the end, I'm going to take pictures with whoever wants to take pictures with me until it's all over. All right? Y'all cool with that? I'm cool with that. All right.
Some questions here. Yeah, I got one right over here. Perfect.
Good evening, Mr. Tatum. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So I guess one question that I would have is because I've been watching your YouTube channel for a while. while, and you
Shame on you. No, I'm joking.
you do talk quite a bit about modern day feminism and the role of men and women in society. So I haven't. If you've commented on this on your YouTube channel before and I missed it, I apologize. But I would just have to ask, what is your opinion on the whole incel movement? That at least to my understanding has gained an alarming amount of popularity among young men, which I don't think I need to explain why that's a pretty big problem.
Okay, perfect. Do you guys know what an incel is?
No.
Well, it's involuntary celibacy or something like that. It's what happens is these young men feel that they cannot get the women that they want, so they decide to be celibate and not interact with women. It's really like a self-loathing thing that these young men do. It's kind of like if you think of like emo or whatever, it's kind of similar to that, where these young men, pretty much put themselves in the closet and play video games all day and distract themselves from actually building relationships with women. And a lot of times these young men, they hate women. They get upset with women because they feel like that there is no particular woman that they can compare themselves with or be connected with anywhere in the world. So they become involuntarily celibate. I think I'm explaining it pretty good. I'm not an incel, so they can probably explain it a little better. But yeah, that's a real thing. Young boys, all you gotta do is when you leave here, just Google incel. Young men are falling into this trap. And I think a lot of it is because they don't have a dad. They don't have a male figure in their life to teach them how to handle adversity or how to deal with women. They don't understand. And it's weird, it's kind of weird how they act, because it's like, come on, bro. You want women that are 10s. I'm just saying, you want a 10 and you don't have nothing to offer anybody. You're shy. I'm gonna say shy is a bad thing, but you want to approach a woman. You want to approach them. You don't keep your hygienes up. You're not trying to work out, and you want a woman that's everything that you think is excellent, but you're not trying to be excellent yourself. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I mean, when I say 10, it's relative. People think 10s are a different type of people, but the goal is that young men need leadership and guidance from other men to teach them how to date. Right. What's the appropriate measure of relationships? It's not just looks, but they need to hear that from men who are successful in relationships and marriage. And I think the lack of male leadership is creating these young boys who are going off on the deep end. And like we in Mesa or Gilbert, we had an incel kid go on a shooting rampage. Thank God he didn't have it in him to actually kill nobody. He shot a couple of people. What he was doing, he was targeting couples. So he would catch a couple there, he would shoot them. And his reasoning, because he was upset because he couldn't find a relationship. So to answer your question, I think it's the lack of strong men who are married, who have successful relationships, who have figured this out, reaching back and connecting with these young men to teach them that, how to build relationships, how to be a man, and how to position themselves to a place where they can get the type of woman and relationship that they really want. So it comes down to male leadership and fathers.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to commend you. First and foremost, please forgive me because I didn't hear you until tonight.
Shame on you.
But I want to commend you because I was raised by a brother from the hood in Chicago, okay? And I grew up in Seattle, and legit, I was shipped across town because they needed more tones over there. But in Seattle, back in the 80s, they literally had all schools segregated. They were 25 black, 25 other, and 50 white. This is legit what took place in Seattle. But I want to commend you because I can't wear that lanyard around my neck that says, here's my family, every color imaginable. So what you're doing is so vitally important. And you being here, you're actually speaking to image bearers. You're calling out, for we are God's workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works that God prepared in advance for us to do. So I've got your back now.
Preach!
I know who you are. I've listened to you a lot.
Thank you for waking her up.
Okay, I've listened to you a lot. I love Candace Owens. And I know, so Candace and you coming out, starting out, coming out on YouTube,
What was that like as far as starting out and then being attacked for being black and having an opinion, like Candace says, like all this, black people can't be conservative and can't have an opinion. It's like you're labeled, and then the attacking coming out on the conservative side.
Yeah, great question. It was bittersweet, because in one sense, you have a lot of people that come out and attack you and talk really crazy about you and say you're a sellout and you hate your own people. I mean, it's very hurtful stuff to a certain degree because you're like, I love my people. And when I say my people, I love everybody. My people are God's people. God's children are my people. And black people are included in that. So I love black people and I want them to thrive in this country just like anybody else. Because I feel like we should all be operating on the same level. Like I said, we're all God's children, so what's the difference between the color? But because America, for some reason, they make it about color, I'm trying to help elevate people to understand that we're all children of God and we're on the same level. If you want to work hard and do the things you should do, you can have the life that you want or that you desire to a certain degree or as much as possible. But it was bittersweet, man, seeing people from my church hating on me, calling me names, people that I worship with, seeing some of my friends that we used to be in the trenches together, playing football. We had so many memories together and they wanted nothing to do with me. They just banned me, blocked me on the social media, talk bad about me. I mean, all the people that I went to school with, like my whole Facebook changed because everybody I was cool with just turned on me. For the most part, there was probably a few people who understood or were conservative already.
How do you feel about that sacrifice?
It was worth it, and I feel like at the end of the day, there was more good in it than bad. Yeah. Because as people begin to leave, God multiplied. Yeah. For every one person that decided to say, I don't like Brandon no more, there was 100,000 people that were saying, keep fighting, young man, keep fighting. We're all in this together. I love you, brother in Christ, whatever the case may be. And so I felt like it was necessary. There was some tough times, but overall, it was a positive. Everywhere I go in this country, everywhere, there are people that see me in the airport. It's like, what's up, B. Tatum? I love what you're doing. Keep up the good work. That completely outweighs all these haters that are online just typing stuff and don't even have a profile picture. Like, bro, you're scared to have a profile picture, you talking trash. You really don't want to talk trash in person. That ain't gonna work out well for you. But it was good. It was a good thing, and I feel very confident that that's what God wanted me and Candace to do and others to do. And it has worked out really well. We have taken the shots for a lot of black conservatives because it wasn't cool when we were doing it. It wasn't a thing. It was like Candace and I kind of woke up to the lies and we were like, oh, we got to tell everybody. It's like when you get saved and you finally hear the gospel for the first time and you want everybody to be saved. You're at the top of people. I remember I was talking to you at the gas station. God wanted me to tell you he loved you. God told me that. Don't judge me. I was trying to save people at the gas station, at the mall. We were witnessing in the mall. The guy taught me how to witness for the first time. I went to the mall and witnessed. And then I started looking at YouTube videos about witnessing, and I started witnessing on campus every day. I wanted to get everybody saved, everybody in my family. But I did the right approach, man. I wouldn't beat people over the head. They were asking me, what happened? Wondering what happened to you? Why you changed? Why you don't cuss? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So inevitably, it worked out really well.
Hey, Rhett here's got a question, but I want to give it up for Rhett because he graduated from Portland State University and he's still a conservative. So
we have a miracle in the house.
Yeah, let's take some work, I must admit. So yeah, it was actually kind of in relation to Portland State. They're really big into CRT. That's one big thing that they like to teach, obviously. They're at Liberty University, go figure. So one of the things they like to say is if you argue with and say, hey, I don't actually see skin color. That's just, I don't see it, which I don't. And I think all of us here don't really either. I don't care if you're whatever color. But they say that's a form of racism somehow because I claim that I don't see it. And it's basically, heads I win, tails you lose. Because if you don't argue, you're accepting. If you do argue, well, that just proves that you're racist. And so how do you deal with that? Or is that basically they just constructed an argument that you can't argue? and it's meant to shut down debate.
It's a joke, but it's difficult, man. Most kids go to college, they forget about God, and they lose their mind too. But I think that you got to understand who you're talking to. You're talking to a brick wall. You're talking to people whose brains are not developed properly, or they don't have God. So you're not really arguing with anything. There's no argument that we had with people like that. What I would say is just continue to be yourself, continue to tell the truth. Yeah. Because truth is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. And if people were too afraid to tell the truth, I would have never woken up. And many other people would have never woken up if people weren't bold enough to tell the truth. So just tell the truth. And when they say that, just say, I just believe what Martin Luther King believed. Do you not believe what Martin Luther King believed? He said content of character, not the color of your skin. What was he preaching? Oh, you don't believe Martin Luther King? Get out of my face. You're a racist. You the racist. You hate Martin Luther King. You play it on them. I don't even talk to people like that. But if I had to, I'd bring up things like that. Martin Luther King's a perfect example of a black man who's like, color is irrelevant. I mean, why are we even focusing on that? We're all God's children. That stuff is just, melanin. If you go into the sun long enough, some of y'all gonna be darker than you are right now. Some of y'all gonna turn into a lobster. I can say that because my wife is light skinned, pale. She got to put sunscreen on when we driving down the car with tinted windows. I'm like, baby, I'm in the car with tinted windows, I still get burned. You get burned through the window? Must be a tough life. Oh, I thought you had white privilege. It ain't no privilege. I go anywhere. I ain't never put on suntan. I don't even know what that is. I mean, sunscreen. I don't even know what that is. We need the screen from the sun. I just get darker. But I think that don't fall into the argument with those people. Don't argue with them on the argument basis that they try to say.
My question was that it's not even worth the time.
It's not, no, heck no, it's not even worth the time. I wouldn't even talk. I wouldn't even waste my time. Like talking to a wall or something. And these people don't. And even when you tell the truth, sometimes unless you feel like it's a valuable conversation or a relationship that you're building, and be kind and loving and explain things to them. But if it's just a leftist out here on campus, white privilege, I wouldn't even talk to them. What's the point? But if you do have to be challenged, or you are challenged by somebody like that, just have your arguments prepared. Martin Luther King is a great one for you. When somebody say that to you, you say, "No, I don't care what you're talking about. I believe Martin Luther King." You don't. So we ain't talking the same. We ain't speaking the same language. But don't let them bully you into believing that stuff. Just stand on what you know. I see a lot. I go to places and a lot of people have that question about, what do I say to somebody when they say I'm a racist? Because they're going to call you a racist no matter what you say. What you have to do is stand on the truth and say, no, there is an issue in the inner city communities that we need to address. No, police are not racist by and large. No, there's not an epidemic of black men get shot in the streets unarmed. That's not true. And you stand up for that, no matter what they say to you, and you will be all right. You had
I made a speech on that actually.
Good.
One of my last speeches at Portland State is I actually made a speech on the fact that, you think there's a lot of unarmed men getting shot by police, but when you look at the numbers, they're just not there.
It's not there.
There's just no data.
It's no data. And they'll tell you it's data.
Well, instead of so you have to choose from a spectrum of 10 to 10,000, everyone chose 10,000. It's actually closer to 10 to 12.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I don't know where you're getting the data from, but it's not accurate. You guys are off by factors of 100.
And that's what you have to say in defense of yourself. Blur out the racist stuff. You don't understand because you ain't black. Well, then a black man can't say nothing about white privilege because they ain't white. So how would they know what white privilege is? So you can play that game with them back and forth. More questions?
Yes, Sammy right here, the president from George Fox University, has got a question. Let's give it up for Sammy.
Thank you again so much for coming out. We have this thing called the Daily Bruin, which is basically a daily newsletter that our university sends out with different events going on campus and things like that. A few days ago, one of these events popped up and somebody pointed out to me, and they're like, you should go read this. And I was like, oh great, okay. So it starts with, our interprofessional team is delighted to invite the George Fox community to a virtual presentation, Get Cultured, Decolonizing and Decentering whiteness in the healthcare workforce. It is 100% designed, developed, and delivered by healthcare professionals who identify with Black, Indigenous, or people of color. It goes on to say the event, and then it goes on to say, if you identify as white, this is a special opportunity to listen and learn. We will learn about ways to decolorize and decenter whiteness in our workforce, dynamic sizing, and other methods to improve clinical care. So my question is, how do we as students combat the administration basically trying to implement racism on our college campus again?
Yeah, I'd say have a opposite event, something like this or something of that nature where you can have an opportunity to say the things that you believe are true. When you see white supremacy, when you see them making it about race, you already know people are crazy. That's all it is. Does it pass if they said, if you use the word black, if it don't pass that test, then you can't go. Because what if they said, this is a chance for black people to understand? I mean, they would ban it on campus. You have to come up with your own events and your own connections and have your own statements. I don't know why they do the protests and stuff that they do. Have your own event. Speak truth at a thing that you put on. Now, if they try not to allow you to have it, then that's when you should protest the administration at the university because they're discriminating against you. However, have your own event. I wouldn't go to that event, I wouldn't entertain it. The end of all of that is a demise, a sad life, depression. These people really need Christ. I was thinking about that the other day. I said this progressivism and all this is because people don't have Christ. They don't have the love of Christ and they don't know where to go. They don't have any connection. They have no purpose. They don't know why they're here. They don't know where they're going. They don't know why they're going. They don't know anything. And they don't have it. And I feel bad for them because they go to these events to look for something, which is virtue. If I show up and I'm white, I'm virtue signaling that I care and I want to be informed about what I don't know about my whiteness. You should be looking to Christ. And then everything will proceed from there. But I wouldn't entertain these people. It's a starter kit. It's the social justice starter kit. Black and brown indigenous people. When I hear that, I don't hear nothing they got to say. I would love it if people would want to have an event to unite one another.
Yeah.
Let's unite. Let's talk about our similarities. Let's talk about what white people have done to progress the country. Why you got everybody got to go 100, 200, 300 years ago. Can y'all get over it?
Yeah.
Like there was a Civil War fall. There were people, what do you think Harriet Tubman was just doing it by herself? There were white people who helped Harriet Tubman free the black slaves. There was plenty of white people that never believed that. Even I can't think his name is passing me right now. They wanted to get rid of his statue, Robert E. Lee. I read the bio of Robert E. Lee. And people don't know that Robert E. Lee helped free slaves in an African country. I forget what country it was. But he had a level of abolition in what he did. In his will, he freed all of the slaves that he inherited. He didn't vicariously go out and try to get slaves. His father had slaves. Father got sick. He had to take over the plantation. In his father's will was to free the slaves. I mean, Robert E. Lee wasn't even as bad as what they were trying to make him out to be. He wrote in a statement that slavery was wrong. It was a moral wrong. It was a stain on who we are, and that's not what we should represent. Now, you got to think he's in a time where, what are you going to do? Free all the slaves and be eating out, they would be eating out of trash can. I don't even know if they had trash cans like we do now. But he would be dying. His family would die or whatever. They had to have this. There was an economic setup that they had that couldn't just go away overnight. But he was an advocate to free slaves. He believed that it was wrong. That's him, and he was a person who had slaves. Imagine all the other people who never owned slaves, who never was supportive of that. The abolitionist movement were white people. If it wasn't for those white people, I don't think black people would have ever been free. So why can't we talk about the progress? Why can't we talk about the good in black and white people? Because if you want to go down the rabbit hole, black people own slaves too. Anthony Johnson was the first legal slave owner. Was the first legal slave owner, a black man. They'll never tell you that. It's on the internet. I'm surprised they haven't taken it down yet. First legal slave owner. He actually went to court to gain life custody pretty much of indentured servants that he had. So somehow they want you to believe black people this man went to the court and was represented himself in getting his slaves or getting his indentured servants to work for him for life. There was hundreds of black people who owned slaves. Some of them obviously were freed and they bought their family members and stuff like that. So there was a little bit of that as well. But there was also wealthy black people at that time that owned slaves. They don't want to talk to you about that. Harriet Tubman. Did you guys know that Harriet Tubman was married? Raise your hand if you knew Harriet Tubman was married at the time she left. Did you know that Harriet Tubman's husband was a free black man? Raise your hand if you knew that. Did you know that Harriet Tubman lived with her husband at the time she escaped to start the Underground Railroad? Raise your hand if you knew that. Raise your hand if you knew that her husband told her not to do it. He was against Harriet Tubman trying to go and start the Underground Railroad and free the slaves. Raise your hand if you knew that. They don't tell you that. They want you to think she's some old woman on the plantation getting beat over the head, which she did suffer a brain injury from, an abusive slave owner. But at the time where she started the Underground Railroad, her family members were free. Her husband was a free man, and he told her not to do it. But thank God she was courageous enough to do it anyway. Of course, in history, they believe he's a coward for what he did. Obviously, he was on the wrong side of that one. But they don't tell you that. They want to paint the picture of something that was very different than what actually happened. And 20 years from now, Black Lives Matter is going to be the civil rights movement of our era. Wow. Believe me when I say that. They're going to lie to you. They're going to have these pictures of Black Lives Matter in the street. George Floyd was they ain't going to tell the truth about George Floyd. Y'all see those statues of George Floyd? He is a god. It's a golden statue next to a Democrat congressman, I forget his name, who was actually in the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. Wow. I forget his name, John Lewis. They got a George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and John Lewis.
Wow. My goodness.
Even though I don't like John Lewis, he was a part of the Civil Rights Act. He was an activist. He was there with Martin Luther King. But they put these criminals next to them. They're going to rewrite history. And they did the same thing with slavery. They're trying to make history push their progressive ideologies. They don't want to tell you the truth, because if you knew the truth, you'd be like, oh, white people have always been. I mean, think about it. Could black people vote?
Yeah.
No. At the time, they couldn't. Who do you think voted for black people to be free from slavery? Or to have rights? Or to be able to vote? It's white people. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they do the women thing. They go, men are trying to control women. Who do you think voted for the right for women to vote? It was men. Clearly, women couldn't vote at the time. So there was, they try to pit us against each other, but we always worked together. Wasn't everybody, but men who were bold enough to say, you know what, I don't think women should vote. Brave, courageous men did that. They should be celebrated. Instead of feminists coming out here and hating all men. The patriarchy. Well, look at the men who died for women to be free. They didn't have to fight. I mean, I'm just being honest. Civil War, hundreds of thousands of people died in the Civil War. That was a brutal, violent war. All these other wars that you've seen over and over, it was men. Think they want to die? No. Look at Ukraine. Women and children are getting free. The men, I don't care if you want to or not. You're going to stay and fight and die for this country. And then once you die, then they'll bring out everybody else back that can live on your dead body. Hopefully they do what's right. But we all have been working together. That's supposed to be a Q&A. Come on, next question.
Yeah, right here, Quincy, conservative black preacher. Give it up.
All right. So somebody's online. They have a couple questions. Actually, just one question. Speaking of world and history, the question is, what is a good way to reach the youth to show them that they have been lied to about the world and history?
Great question. I mean, tell them the truth in history. Talking to them about that, giving them literature to read. I just decided to read about Robert E. Lee. I kind of heard things here and there, and I said, let me read about this guy, because everybody, it seemed like that the left hate, it's always not the truth. So teach, encourage them to read. When you have an opportunity, it's something I want to do better at, is that put books out there online for people to read. I should make a video on all the books that I've read or things that have been referred to me that can give you the proper context about history, and so you don't get caught up in the lie. But I think we should encourage people to read and to be knowledgeable and to be a balanced thinker. Don't just believe the first thing you read. I see conservatives do it all the time. They post something, I'm like, that's way too juicy. Let me do some research. Then you research and you're like, oh, that Ukraine video was from like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. But they want it to be, because it feeds into their side. Even conservatives do it. Take some time, relax, slow down. That's way too juicy. Even on either side, teach people. That's what I tell people. If it's too juicy, just go do some research.
Yeah.
Take a little time, look it up, verify it. It may be true, but you better verify it, or you're gonna look like a fool. And most people today, they just delete their profile or they delete it like it never happened. They look like fools all the time. But yeah, I encourage people to go, and people that are watching to go and read for yourself. You want to be a person who's informed, that you have that knowledge of yourself. I can tell you about police brutality numbers all I want. Washington Post have put together an entire database of police shootings. The date, the name. You can go look on there and you can see how many shootings actually occurred in this area, in this city. Like I was speaking in Chicago or something, one of these places, and I went and looked up when the last time a black man was shot in the arm, and it was like none in the last 2 years. It's like, well, wait a minute. Black people are dying every day in this city. And y'all protesting the police, and a police officer haven't shot a black man unarmed for the last 2 years in the city. And when they did shoot a black man, it was one. It's like 5 million black people live here. One black man shot. Y'all protest. Y'all on the wrong thing. But the Washington Post have a I don't know what to call it, but they have a database of it. That's where I get all my information from. Because then you look on it, you say, oh, it was only 14 black people shot unarmed. What was the circumstance? Oh, he tried to take the police officer's gun. Oh, he faked like he had a real gun, but he had a fake one. And then you go through all of them and you're like, oh, he was fighting 5 or 6 cops. He had one down. He was beating them unconscious, and they shot him. Oh, well, all of them deserve to be shot. You know, just because you're unarmed don't mean you ain't a deadly threat. So teach people to look these things up and verify for themselves. Next question.
Right here.
Right here.
What do you say about the white liberal? Because they seem to be the hardest people to get through to. Mostly white liberal women, because even when you give them information, it really is. Even when you give them the information, they're so torn. It's almost like they have this internal war going on. They're so torn by their black women friends that have given them the emotional story that they have. That's it's the exception that they're trying to justify the whole for. Are they a lost cause? Or what do you think?
A good question. I think that I feel like the white liberal has become the most dangerous person. I mean, I say become, I think it's always been that way. I mean, the white liberal, you know, it's funny, when you do Black Lives Matter, it's normally like white liberals that are running these activist groups for black people.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, that's black people. Like around in Phoenix, Black Lives Matter is white people. You know? Yeah. They protesting Black Lives Matter. I'm like, there's 2 black people in there. And they're in the back. What is going on here?
Same here.
You know, it's white liberals to a certain degree. You know, I don't want to make it about race, but white liberals tend to be they have the most guilt. They don't know what to do. They have guilt, and they're like, okay, I want to do what's right for my friends who are black because I love them, I care about them. And then these black folks be just putting that sob story on. I get followed around every time I go to a store. I was in Neiman Marcus the other day, and they followed me around. Shaniqua, you sure that wasn't the salesperson? I said, no, she followed me everywhere and kept asking me questions. What happened when you went into Gucci? Shaniqua, well, they didn't want to talk to me in Gucci. Was it because they thought if they followed you, you would think they racist? No, it was because, and I'm doing this as judgment. It's trying to be funny about it, but to a certain degree, I have black people tell me these stories that be fake like a mother. You know, I'm like, I used to be a cop, bro. You ain't finna lie to me. I can see it in your eyes that you just made up that whole police story. They pull you over for no reason. Oh, but you went to jail. You didn't say. I'm gonna say this. I had a family member. I ain't gonna say who it is, but they can get found out. I had a family member that's real close to me. Post online. All these white cops out here put profiling of what racist white cops, whatever. And I'm like, why would he say this? He know how I roll. Why would he post this? It must be something real serious. I looked at the video and I say, I know what a traffic stop look like when I see one. I know when they find drugs. I know what that looks like. Oh, I know when the K9 show up. I know how that process works. Then I went and found out the police report. oh, the racist white cops pulled you over and they smelled marijuana and you got arrested for possession of marijuana. They weren't pulling you over for no reason. You were doing something you had no business doing. But instead of owning up to it, you make up a fake police stop that was racist. You know, so I don't know if I'm answering your question. White liberals. I don't think anybody's a lost cause, right? Yeah, I was a liberal at one point, you know, relatively speaking. I wasn't as radically blue-headed, crazy fools that I see all day. But I was a liberal, I was a Democrat. If somebody thought I was a lost cause, I mean, well, you know, my friends would never talk to me and I'll still be kneeling I'd be kneeling for the national anthem like Colin Kaepernick, my crazy self. Y'all see what he did?
Yeah.
That fool is training for the NFL. He just did a documentary and said it was racist and it was like slavery. Yeah. Doing the NFL combine anyway.
Training for slavery.
Nobody's a lost cause. But allow God to guide you to the right person that needs to hear the message. Even in the Bible, when the apostles would go and attempt to preach the gospel to people, it was not in the Bible. It wasn't in the Bible to tell them to just beat down the door and keep arguing with these people. It said if they don't receive it, move on. God will send people in your life. Use that as an opportunity. Do it in love. Amen. I talk a lot of trash online, but when people have a conversation with me face to face, I do it in love. Because I do love everybody. Sometimes you got to call them out even if you love them. Christ, you know, where God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. But that didn't mean that Jesus wasn't on earth talking trash about the Pharisees. Amen. He was all over it. I don't know if he was cussing. I mean, I don't think it's a cuss word, but I don't speak Hebrew. I mean, I'm not Hebrew, but I don't speak Arabic, whatever his original language was. But he called them vipers and hypocrites, and that's translated in English. He must have said something, they killed him. You know what I'm saying? Right. They want to beat him down over there. He must have said something real crazy. So, you know, you can still call people out and challenge them. But if there's somebody that you want to connect to, you do it in love. And sometimes the hard truth is what people need to hear. Right. I express based on the way I receive stuff. If you're a type of person that you can't receive somebody being harsh with you and talking real crazy to you, when I take it as a challenge. Somebody say, Brandon, you a fraud, you lying like this. Let me show you who the fraud is. That challenges me to prove you wrong. Even if you're telling me something that, and I may be wrong about, okay, let me see. Let me go look it up. I want to verify. You just challenged me. Some people can't respond, don't respond to things like that. So just understand who you're talking to. Challenge the people who need to be challenged. If you're a person that take a soft approach, that's what God has called you to do. Because there's some people that will listen to me, and there's some people that some of you guys will reach that never will hear me. God has ordained a certain amount of people that you will influence. Amen. That I'll never talk to. But you can't be afraid, because there's 5 or 6 people, 500, 600 million people, whatever the number is. If you're afraid, you will never reach those people. They'll never come out of the rut. So regardless if you're white liberal, black liberal, if you want to win somebody, you gotta love them first. They have to know you actually care about them. My goal on my videos is just to pump out truth, and then you can catch it while it's running. But my goal when I talk to people is to say, I love you first. I care about your soul. That's why I'm even talking to you. If this was not real and I did not believe what I'm saying, I wouldn't waste my time. Because I love you is why I'm saying this. Because I genuinely believe in what I'm saying. And I genuinely want to afford you the opportunity to go research it for yourself. That's what I do. I don't argue with my dad, my father. To this day, I've never had an argument with my dad. He started going down the path. I don't want to talk about that. You know, I'm not going to argue with my father. You know, we've never gotten into an argument. Not because he probably wasn't going to get into it, it's because I pipe down. I said, yes, sir, I'm done. Okay. I'm going to send you that video tomorrow when you calm down a little bit. But how do I win my father over? He's my father. He's my elder. It's hard to tell your daddy that he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I love my father. He know I love him. He know how genuine I am. He know who I am as a person. And it's been, I don't know, since I started the movement, 5 years of just little seeds. Hey, Daddy, come see this event. Invite it to the White House. Come check it out. So you can see Trump and the races. I don't tell him that, but when he get there, he'll find out. Anyway, let me ask more questions. How much time do I have? Because
We're going to do one more question, and then we're going to do Raffle. We'll do a meet and greet. If you have any questions, feel free when we do the meet and greet. But Brandon Merritt, my good buddy here, has got a question for you. Give it up for Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon! I knew you were a good man when I heard your name.
I appreciate that. So, number one, thank you very much for being here tonight. I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, we've got the same name, so we got that.
Let's go, Brandon.
We're both strong men of faith. I was thinking, what's the difference between myself and this man in front of me? It wasn't until you sat down. I said, this man has had a long travel. Look at his jeans. He absolutely walked through a rose bush. And the only difference is if I did a Q&A, they would say that to me. But a man your size, they would definitely not say that to. But all joking aside, I think when I take a look at what BLM is trying to represent, when I look at Antifa and what's happened in Portland, the LGBTQ plus community, there is a silver lining to pull from that, which you may or may not agree with, that they're all seeking something bigger than themselves. And so you have a platform and a gift, a God-given talent, it's very clear. And I'm truly, and I think I can speak for the rest of the room, wildly inspired. Seriously. So if you know there's a younger generation that is in desperate need of guidance, and they're seeking something larger than themselves, when you get a moment with someone, and obviously I'm sure you evaluate it differently, but what is that message that you're speaking to someone? Because I reflect back, and I'm sure you could share with us on your mentors. What exactly would you share with and I know it's been asked in different forms, a younger generation, but specifically we know that they're looking for something bigger than themselves. We have found it. They have not yet found it. How do you tap into that?
Great question. Y'all give Brandon a round of applause. Well, the most powerful message that I've ever been able to convey to people, no matter who I talk to, is my testimony. Because I don't have to lead with Christ all the time, right? My testimony speaks for itself. When people hear what I have gone through, they begin to resonate with some of the things that God has done in my life to help them. Because you got to understand, your testimony is not just for you. The men in the Bible, the people in the Bible, the women in the Bible, y'all reading their stories today. Now, at the time, they probably didn't feel like it was going to be a story at all. Thousands of years later, we're reading their testimony. And we find things in them to help us make it to the next level. It's something about the way God does things that we don't know what it is in our life that the next person can benefit from. All of the things we go through, sometimes it feels like it's to destroy us. And sometimes they hurt and they make you want to give up. But there's something that God puts you through to help another person. So when people come to you, not to argue with you and do all that crazy stuff, but when people come to you, genuinely seeking something, whether it's love, whether it's attention, whatever, sharing your life experience is the best form of connecting with somebody. Because God orchestrates meetings with people. You don't just run into people by chance, in my opinion. Even the most mundane situations is by choice from God to give you an opportunity to share what he's done in your life for somebody else. As minimal as you think it may be, it may mean the world to somebody else. So when somebody comes to you, consider that. You may not be the most eloquent speaker. You may not know every scripture in the book. You may not have a great relationship with God. You may still be working on it. But there's something that God has done in you to help somebody else. So when your opportunity comes, remember that. That's what I do. When I go to events, I don't write speeches. I don't write speeches. I say, what can I talk about at some of these events? I just did a money event, which is a money man called Mats and Money. I normally do politics. What am I going to say to these people? Because I can't talk about Biden all day. You know? I share my testimony. And people come up to me after, some of them crying, some of them inspired. And it's nothing I had to write. I just told the story that God gave me. So I want you guys to remember that in closing. Thank you for asking that question. I think the thing that I want you to take away from this is that each and every person that's in here, you're valuable. You mean something to God. You have power. You have a purpose in you. And as long as you're breathing, God is giving you the motivation to say, get up and go do it again. No matter if you fail, if you had some things that you've done that you would never tell nobody. When you wake up the next morning, God is saying, come on, try it again. Do it again. Keep fighting. That what's in you will come out of you. Just keep believing. Keep pursuing. Don't live this life selfishly. Live it to inspire other people. So if you haven't heard nothing I say, some of y'all asleep, I saw you. No. Remember that the light is in you. We're in a church building. It's not about the building. It's in you. Amen. And there's no greater person. We're all equal in God's eyes. We have an equal purpose and plan. And I'm gonna finish it with this statement, because I know some of y'all like Tom Brady. So
yeah, baby.
Some of y'all like Tom Brady. I do not. But to win a Super Bowl, he ain't blocking. He ain't running the ball. In many cases, he's not, in some cases, he's not calling the plays. He dang sure ain't playing defense. He's not playing special teams. He's not recruiting. Sometimes he recruited old boy that ran off the field with his shirt off.
Antonio Brown.
They won the Super Bowl, so he did a good job. But
Sean Jackson, right?
Antonio Brown. So he's not doing the recruiting. There's a lot. He's not the team trainer. It takes everybody together working with one mind, one mission to accomplish what God has called us to do. Everybody. Yes. Somebody has to greet at the door. Yes. At the church, somebody has to preach. Right. Somebody has to be amen. Or your pastor will be falling asleep on himself. Somebody got to be the digital team. Somebody got to do praise and worship. Man, you got a pastor that can sing too. I wish I could sing. I'll be singing to y'all right now. But God didn't give me that gift. Somebody got to sing. Somebody got to play the drums. Somebody had to die for our sins. And there had to be 12 of them that supported them. And then they boiled down to 11 of them. Y'all understand that? Yeah. I'm encouraged today by seeing you guys here. And I want you to go out and don't leave here being like, oh, man, Brandon Tatum. I saw Brandon Tatum. I know some of y'all probably don't even know who I am until today. But I want you to leave here and do something about it. Whatever that is, do something about it. Be active. Faith is an action word. You can't just have faith sitting there. I have faith that God's going to do something. No, you got to move on that. I have faith that the country is going to be a better place. No, you got to do something about it. I have faith that my children are going to wake up. No, you better do something about it. You can't just sit idle. All right? Y'all feel me? Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you for being here. God bless you. God bless America. When you're done, come take a picture with me. I love to hug you and give you some love. So I appreciate you guys.
Things we're going to do here first. One is we're going to take a big group photo because you all look so beautiful. Your all uncovered faces are just so amazing. Brandon, do you mind jumping in the photo here? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the raffle prizes. So get those, get ready, pray hard, cross those fingers, whatever you do. And then we're gonna do the raffle prizes, and then we're gonna do the meet and greet. For the meet and greet, really quick, I just wanna say, all of the Turning Point students get first dibs. Okay? All the students that are part of Turning Point USA come up to the front of the line first. There's some students that need to go study and do some things for classes tomorrow, things like that. So students first, and then all the other adults can come and be a part of things. So I'm just going to take a quick photo here. And also, everyone, why don't you stand up, and then there should be a sign that you got on your chair there. If you don't mind holding one of those signs up, I will. That would be awesome. I'm just going to take it with mine here. I can send it to you or post it. If you want any photos from tonight, or if you want to take a photo and tag on Instagram, tag TeamUSANW. Okay, it's Turning Point USA Northwest. That's our Northwest page. We share about all the different things that are going on. So I'm going to take a photo here. Yeah, hold those up real high. Can we turn the bright lights on just a little bit, like brighter, not so blue in the audience? Is that possible? Just do like more like white light versus a blue light. I'm just trying to get it. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, big smiles. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Love it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Okay, so with that, raffle prizes, come on up. Let's give it up for these guys. We got Quentin, a high school coordinator here in Oregon. Quentin is actually a staff member for Turning Point. He works for us. He works with high school students here in the state, contacting students, calling them up, being like, hey, do you want to start a club at your school? This guy is amazing. Give it up for Quentin. He's been doing amazing things in the state. And Sam is the vice president. He's been doing a ton of work, passing out flyers. If you were at Cabela's the other day and you got a flyer in your car, it was probably from him. Yeah, we went to like gun stores, Cabela's, Fisherman's, Coastal Farm and Ranch, and flyered the parking lot. So if you got one of those, great. But we're going to do some prizes. Which one are we going to do first? Do you want to go first, Quentin, with a couple? Awesome.
All right, guys. First of all, I just wanted to thank you all for coming out again. It's amazing to see the turnout. And second of all, I just wanted to give you an update on all the raffles and thank all the companies that donated. Armac Tactical, Brawler Ball. Great companies. Check them out. Great people. And for the Brawler Ball giveaway, feel free, if it's not your size, to go ahead and exchange it at the table. But other than that, yeah, I think we're good. Ready to draw.
I'll check it out. Sorry.
One second, guys.
Hello? All right. If you guys do win, just head to the raffle table right after this. All right. Quentin, you want to take the cup? This for the sweatshirt.
Sweatshirt.
Barb, Emily. Perfect. You want to head right over to the raffle table after this? Alrighty. What are we doing next? TPUSA swag? Alright. Here you go, Cole.
Alright. For the TPUSA swag. Yeah, why not? Let's get crazy with it. We have, this sounds rigged, Barbette. This election was rigged.
Alright, let's do this card detail.
Shake it up. Maybe put all of hers in last.
Yeah, maybe.
She win again, we know what's up.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this folded one. Kathy.
Last one.
Sure. There we go. Alrighty. This one is.
Alright, this is the 2-night stay at the Talwana Inn. Beautiful Cannon Beach. Susan Martin.
So if you want to just meet us at the raffle table after.
Alright, we know y'all are waiting for this one.
Hey, can we get drum roll? Come on. Alrighty. And the winner is Roger Hodge.
Awesome. Sweet, guys. Well, again, thank you so much. Yeah, if we could have all the students come up, Brandon's right up here. We'll just have you guys come up on stage and chat with them, take a photo. I do want to take a photo of all the George Fox students with you guys. Deal? Hey, if you guys have any questions about things, feel free to come to the chat. Feel free to come chat with us. Come back to the tables, buy some swag and different things. If you want to donate to Turning Point tonight, if you're like, hey, I didn't win anything, but I still want to give some money to keep doing what you guys are doing, I'd be happy to take those from you. So thank you guys very much. Have a great night.
Well, I took a shower.
I might have to mute it because there's music playing, so just give me a little bit, guys.
Let's head to the table.
Hopefully it'll be quiet enough that the music won't pick up.
Hey, we're going to start the line. All the students come over here, and we're going to work the line.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tonight. Share this out. Like I said, I will be posting probably tonight. I'll try to post tonight, or maybe I'll just make it a premiere tomorrow. I might make it a premiere tomorrow and post the interview, the meet and greet that him and I did. Just like I said, it was candid talking, just chill talking. And I did ask him, I said, yo, can I post this? Do you mind if I post this? Or you want me to edit it? Because there's just like, it's straight candid talk. There wasn't really no interview. I asked him some questions, but it was just so, you guys know how I do it. It was just a natural thing. And so I'll see, I'll put that up. I'll make it a premiere. Maybe I'll just set it for like 9 a.m. West Coast time as a premiere so that you guys can look forward to watching that and all that. So yeah, we'll go from there, and I'll probably stay here as people are kind of like talking to him, asking him questions. Hopefully you guys can hear some of the questions. I don't know. I don't have him bugged or anything. So, but we'll see if we can hear. I'll turn the camera around.
Oh, have me on campus. I'll take it. Ain't nobody gonna miss her. Keep on fighting. Good luck on the chat.
George Fox crew. We're all gonna sit on the stage and take a photo with you. And then we'll do it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Wow. 3, 2, 1. You guys are heroes. I wish I would have said that. Y'all played a good fight. My God. When I was in college, I don't think I would have made it.
Well, I tell the story all the time. It's really funny because we used to live on the same floor for 2 years. And conservatives, that's how little politics was talked about, like on campus, like in the classroom. And when during COVID, we all got sick, so I started listening to Charlie Kirk, and I was like, we need to start looking at chapter at our university. I texted her, and she was like, and I was like, yes, but I was like, but none of us know because we're not allowed to talk about it, and it's horrible. And I'm like, great humanity that way.
You got the heroes, man.
Oh, yes, I heard about that. Yeah,
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for coming out. Thank you. You guys should be here.
And you asked if anybody else about Tucson, and I'm from Phoenix. So, yeah. I was like, oh, I can't raise my hand. There you go. Thank you so much. Yeah. I hope you have a better back down again.
We will. You got any books with you?
No,
I didn't think so.
Yeah, it's just all that luggage.
All that, yeah, I know. Carry merch, yeah.
Maybe next time I will do that. I think it'll be smart. I could just ship the books to the chapel.
Yep.
And then we can do it here. That's good. That's a big one.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. I want to see that campus stuff. I bet they can. We got so much. Yeah, man, y'all keep up with your fight, man. Good job, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Keep fighting, man. Every effort matters. For sure. You guys went there, man. So many people involved. Yeah, I appreciate you. If you want me down there, just tell me. For sure. We'll get that going. Put Joe Biden. Pretty good rapper. That's your baby? That's my baby. This is my baby. Baby too? Baby too? No. Victoria. You said this your baby too? That's my baby. And then I thought I was wrong. Do you have more babies here? No. And I know they like, I'm your baby. They don't understand. They're always going to be those little babies. They're always going to be your baby.
I'm really hoping the music isn't loud enough. I mean, I'm sure it's picking it up, but I don't know how loud it is.
Oh, right. I went sometimes I want some down here.
Okay, that's good.
I see your tears. The question is, do you look at it as a job?
I know you guys can't hear him. I don't want to get all up in there, but I will.
Like I have a.
Oh, you saying with qualified immunity and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Is that what you were referring to? No, I mean, if God has called you to do it, you do it. Don't worry about all the stuff. Don't work yourself out. You got to do what God has called you to do. Or you'll never feel fulfilled. So I'll say pursue it. Make sure you're in good physical condition, running, push-ups. When you go to do the thing, you don't want to be. You want to lead. You want people. You want to look at them like, well, she's the hard. She's the top. She's coming in prepared. And make sure you do a ride along. How old are you?
16.
Oh, you got a long way to go. You got a lot of time to do some push-ups.
I got some buddies that are cops, so I'm
Oh,
trying
do
to
you?
get her to ride with Blackness County.
Yeah, do some ride-alongs, and then when it becomes closer to time, when you turn 21, make sure you do some ride-alongs again, so you can go into it very prepared. Because I did oral boards, and they want to know, what have you done to prepare? You want to tell them, I work out, I met cops, I spoke to them, I did ride-alongs, all in my life. So you'll be prepared. I think you should do it. And you've got enough time that by the time you become a cop, things are going to be different. And I think it's going to be different for the better. It always ebbs and flows. No more with these pants. No more.
You're in charge of that, Nick, right? Where y'all going? Where do you guys go from here? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Tell your mama I said hi.
I will.
Right, yep.
Great question.
Yeah, I want to say it's not easy.
I could only imagine. I don't know how y'all do it. If I was a conservative in college, like, I probably would get in fights with you.
So there's still a line of people getting ready to get their picture taken with Officer Brandon Tatum. You see the line, they're all lined up here. They're all lined up. College students, adults, all wanting to get their picture taken and talk to shake his hand. So probably another maybe 15 minutes of this. So a good little turnout, a little intimate setting. Very good, very good.
So what I would tell you is advice to make sure you
In case you guys are tuning in now and don't know who this is Brandon Tatum, former police officer. And he's with Blexit, with Candace Owens, and Turning Point as well. He does collaboration with Turning Point.
They'll see you as we. All right?
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you for answering the question.
For sure, yeah. Another thing that's always disturbing is that churches here take CRT.
Oh yeah, they out of control.
Yeah.
That's not a church.
It's not a church, but yeah, they
right.
Churches I've been to, they just laugh them right over.
Write them off. They in the church. You ain't got no connection with God.
Yeah.
If you teach a CRT in the church, your connection is gone.
Yeah, my opinion is you can't do CRT in Christ.
No, it ain't. They do not match. Thank you, brother.
Have a nice day.
All right, watch your step. You get a viral video of calling your step.
Oh, I'll take a picture.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You just have to do it between us. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. You want me to take a couple? Okay, and one more. 1, 2, 3. I think that's perfect.
I should. The music's out there though. I was going to get down off the stage and go actually talk to some people to see what they thought of the event. But the music's playing, so I don't want to kind of get a strike for that. So I'm just going to. I'm kind of like behind the speakers a little bit where I'm at.
that's good. I like that. That's a good perspective. I wish more people would be interested in that.
You can't hear what they're saying.
No, it's a more combination of things. I guess the more isolated they bring out of the combination with the company offers for the year of big spokesperson. So that kind of led me down the path. But it was a combination of things.
Dang, Facebook fell asleep. Facebook fell asleep.
All of it together gave me.
Okay, good. Thank you, Linda. I didn't know if you guys could actually hear. I didn't want to be all up in.
For everything you're doing. Yeah, I watched you like from the beginning. The video, you're like how to show your sister, like talking about your
I remember that.
I was like, right, because I've been a Christian like my whole life, and so I love hearing from you because you weren't. So I think that's like so relatable. Thank you for coming out to Portland.
Oh yeah.
I feel like everyone forgets. Like,
And thank y'all for coming to support me in
you know,
Portland.
I've been watching you in Portland
Awesome.
the whole time.
Good.
That's adorable. All of it.
Thank you so much.
As far as the convoy, me going back to the convoy, yes, I want to go back to the convoy. The tickets,
My day one. I call my day one right now.
airline tickets are crazy expensive, you guys. I don't know if you understand how crazy they are.
Found out.
Really? How did you find out? Oh, okay. Cool. Y'all gonna show ticket?
One of our guys is down Salem.
So I'm assuming it's a good church.
Yeah.
Come.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I would love. I'm here, which is rare that I would ever be here, but if I ever come here and I have a chance, I can come here and worship.
Yeah, I keep checking for tickets, you guys. They're just everywhere I go, they're pretty expensive. I mean, I found some cheaper, but then it's also trying to plan and stay in communication with Josh and them, the team back there, the folks, when the move is. So that's kind of where I'm at. It maybe have to be something this weekend. We'll see. But that's what I'm kind of waiting on. I know they're doing moves. They went in around closer to DC today, which got me pretty excited, especially with the police shutting down the off ramps, the exits, and some other things that happened. So we'll see. I'll keep paying attention, keep talking to Josh, Oreo Express, keep talking to Wizzy, and a couple other people back there, and I'll make the move and get back there as soon as I think. I know Josh has some theories, some thoughts of when it could possibly happen. There was some permits. There was some permits made, and some were rejected. So, good night, Julie. I'll get back to DC. I'll get back there. I'm paying attention to Josh, Oreo Express. I'm paying attention to Wizzy. I'm staying in good contact with Josh as well. So it'll be one of those things. It'll probably be on the fly if I go do it. Well, not if, but when I go do it. So, and then pay attention for tomorrow morning. I will post the video. The candid. I mean, it was straight candid. It was awesome just to kind of spend some time with them, talk to him. It's just a real conversation. kind of like meeting almost the first time. So I'll post that in the morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll make it a premiere. So let people know and all that type of jazz. You can share it out. So I'll post that. Then tomorrow evening on the show, there's going to be a candidate who's running to be governor of Oregon on my show. I'm not telling who. Maybe I should, but we'll wait. Make it a surprise. But there's a candidate that's going to be on the show tomorrow evening. So look forward to that. That will be live, just so you guys know. And I believe we are taking a week off of In the Now. I believe that was the final verdict. Let me check that since I just made that statement. I'm going to check that right now. And I believe we are.
God bless you guys. Watch your step.
Rana, thank you so much.
Steps, man.
Thank you so much for the Venmo. Thank you so much. Seriously, God bless you. Thank you for that blessing. Who else? Rodonna Morris. Also, just because you are a man of God and a patriot, thank you very much for the Cash App. I believe that was. Denise, thank you. Thank you guys so much for the blessings. Thank you. Let me turn this back around. That's awesome. I feel like the line just grew even longer. Yeah, it was definitely a good turnout. I mean, like I said, it was more of an intimate setting. 150 people. It wasn't, the flyer and everything. It did get hacked and everything, so there was some stuff with that. So there was some stuff with that.
Hey, was it delayed? It was 40 pages short. I'm like, I don't know how many pages I'm writing. I'm told this like months ago. So it was delayed, and they don't know. So most of what I do is going out of flow, straight out of I want to be
I know, man.
It's only happened once. So.
Okay. Don't want to do it again. Do it like that far? Yeah. But still, though, I mean, unexpected, it could do some damage. Yep. So now, do you just record, obviously, footage, and then you go back and edit it?
Yeah. Just like once if you
Right. Yeah. Because I was taking in the mic and it was kind of hard to hear the audio. Oh, you have it held, yeah.
We don't have anything. What's funny is I had a smaller wire that was sitting over here on the transfer. Right. It broke and so it's actually been sensitive. I'm trying to be sensitive. That's what we got from the I had to resign because I found these letters.
The same dude he was, the same guy who was mentioning back there.
And then so after that,
So where do you meet you? He just goes like we're doing.
He's so much
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. It's pretty exciting for you. Can you help him out in the studio as well?
Yeah.
So you do it in the studio with things like on air and stuff like that? Or
oh no, me.
That's to him or something else?
Yeah, but there's a system where you look at I mean, it's most people do nowadays. Take these like advanced tickets to the right on
That's cool. I know some people like they have like people behind the camera and doing some digital stuff as far as programming. So I wasn't sure if I know he just knows that like little pieces for the most part. Or if you have somebody controlling clean up on the computer. Some people have that too. But he's doing all that shit. That's how I do myself. But sometimes it's kind of lost to do when you're trying to go through a bunch of different clips and stuff. Yeah.
You learn more about we do a lot more one day at a time.
I'm sorry so much. I just get on now. My glasses. Yeah, I actually have a headquarters.
Dropping stuff.
Come to me after.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I'll send it. We have a headquarters in Scottsdale. I'll have you send it to them. Okay, perfect. Watch stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through pictures and everybody gonna talk about it. Finally!
Yeah.
Good side?
Brandon, I'm watching you. I watched you was Miracle Green, and I saw the ad for Bryson Gray had, branding. My blouse so far.
It's on my website. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. There you go. Yeah. Thank you, man. Diamonds on Twitch. Diamonds. I see the diamonds. Thank you, Jason Greenbud. Twitch coming through. Yeah, he just gets it.
There you go.
I'll tell you real quick. She just messaged me just randomly. Because we both went to did you know her? No, I didn't know her. I heard of her, but I didn't know her. So she basically, I just got the message on Twitter. You want one of like, hey, we should collaborate. And I'm like, all right, cool. She said, I would love to meet you. So when she came to Mason one time, she invited me, and I thought it was just me and her. And it wasn't. It was me and the whole family. And me and her dad are really good friends now. He's like down there. But we were at dinner at this restaurant in Mason at the airport, and we literally shut the restaurant. We were debating about Trump the whole time. It's like 3 of her family members were conservative, and 3 of them, you know, me and like her and a couple were conservative, and then they had the liberals. It was fun. We were drinking wine. That was the first time I met people, and we did it awesome. So we like brothers and sisters, you know. I just saw her in Tennessee on the show. Me and my wife was on the show. She's amazing. Oh yeah, she's amazing. I mean, I wish she could go with me everywhere I go. She's got to go. You got questions? You need help down? Oh, y'all ready? Are y'all ready? I'm ready, man. So, I don't know if you remember.
Okay, now.
He's got my phone, yeah.
Okay, now where am I going to?
Oh, well, when did you see that?
Flyer.
Oh, wow.
And we went into the group photo with Ray.
Let me get the table. Oh, I got you. Oh man, that's messed up. That's a real autograph there. What's your name?
Adam.
This is yours, Adam?
Yeah.
That's official.
Okay.
Adam.
And then Isaac.
Spell it for me, Isaac. Isaac, spell it.
I-S-A-A.
What?
I-S-A-A. Okay, now we're gonna wait. Okay, and then me.
Hang on, guys.
Adam, come on.
Who am I looking at? Okay.
Yours went off. That's weird. That's awesome. Well, so what is this race? Okay, so maybe
All right, smile, guys.
Got it.
Got it?
Y'all better check that instant confidence.
Hope I was in the way.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, so we're with Ray Reynolds for our church here. We're with Ray Reynolds, campaign for sheriff for North Austin. Here in Hey! We wanted to talk to you about maybe we have a Yeah, give me send me an email. Okay. Send it to Sky. Trying to rent a car in. Okay. So Sky S-K-Y-E. The Officer Tatum.
No, it's still up. There is, I know. I thought it slowed down, but people can bag him like
So that's my, she does my booking and stuff, so if you want to do something, we 5 o'clock in the morning. We get on a flight at like 7. I wish, man. We were supposed to be here all day yesterday. I mean, all day today. I was supposed to do a ride along. Police department. But freaking, you know.
So, Raven, he's a police officer. He's a police officer, right? He's been putting a lot of work for 27 years.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, so just hit me up. I'm going to get that
You want it? Okay.
Hey. I'm here to everybody. 2, 3, one more for good luck. 1, 2, 3. There we go. God bless you guys. Thank the brothers in the middle, right? Like the chocolate in the middle.
Reverse Oreo.
You stuck my fat. I like the way to zoom in on here. Little green was here. Let me see me. Zoom in on me.
Mike, I'll be right back. And I'll be ready.
I don't know if you guys got that or not, but some people wanted pictures with me and Tatum. I probably broke the camera. You're probably right. Well, I'll ask him in a little bit.
So I was a huge athlete, got vaccinated 17 years ago, and God used my bad for good though, and saved my daughter, and I've saved her good health. I just feel so grateful.
All the people. It grew a little bit more, didn't it? I'm trying to get one of me like, right. I'm like, that's what she wants to go.
The cool thing is, we're here tonight. That's cool.
But I took off work right now, and it was medical treatment.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially with that incident.
You guys just want to send pictures?
Thank you. You're guys too. Seriously, keep doing what you guys are doing. We need you guys. You guys are the next generation, man.
Yep, I'll give it to you. Boom.
Perfect.
Yep, you're good.
For real.
Are you Portland area?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, so he got a customer with custom slides.
Especially the one about the young black boys that are getting that, I forget what shot it is, MMR, causing them to be autistic. And they have the facts and the numbers that show that to be true. And they knew that it was doing it, and they did it anyway.
So they slice the data in a way to hide it.
Right, that's what they did.
So it's fraud.
Yeah,
It's fraud.
and they should go to prison.
They should, and there's one whistleblower, Dr. William Thompson, who reached out to someone I know. He did not burn the 10,000 pages showing that data. Everyone else burned the data. That's how much they hate and don't want to live in data.
Okay, I'll go to jail.
Well, absolutely. And what we're seeing now is quiet genocide.
Women aren't ready to reproduce with the current vaccine. Like people having menstrual issues and reproductive for men too. Like these people should go to jail. And you know, I try not to get mad at Trump because I know he was trying to do the right thing. But you got to think it started with him too.
I know.
They created the warp speed stuff, and then he's been pushing it too. Like I wouldn't mandate it, but no, we shouldn't have it at all. Y'all haven't even tested this thing properly.
Yep, he says the same thing I've been saying. It's the same exact thing I've been saying, you guys. Trump did start this stuff, so like it or not.
Oh, 100%.
But my friend Dr. they can't take him down. He's a black man, right? And they can't take him down. And they can't cancel him.
I think I saw him on a podcast.
Probably.
Is he a Muslim?
No. But he, and Kevin Jenkins, they were able to speak to him.
Some black dude was on a podcast when I first heard it. He talked about the genocide, other things he was doing back then.
Yep.
He was, I couldn't put it on my YouTube channel, though. I didn't think about it.
Right.
But I was like, wow. I sent it to my wife and she was like, see, that's what I was telling you.
Well, Santa Barbara, where I'm from, actually, so Brandy Vaughn was before her, and right when her child was born, she had already went to them and saw that they manipulated data, and she started speaking out California, and then she became targeted for that, and actually moved her out.
I wish I did.
So
It's a serious thing. You're talking about trillions of dollars of money in these vaccines. It ain't gonna make this one be over. Let me get this picture if you want. I want to get everybody pictures if you want to chat a little bit. Excel.
Excel on both?
Yeah. In theory.
Because I just am so proud that this issue is now out in the open. Yeah, I'm going to take the sign down because you want it out. Sorry.
All right. What was on that song? Oh.
So the amazing thing about BT here, he seriously is going to take a picture with everybody else. Everybody, until everybody gets a picture and talks to everybody. Seriously.
Please reach out to my wife too. My wife is on it.
Okay.
This is her passion. Watch the stuff. How you doing, brother? Yeah, no. Oh, let's go, Brandon. I love it, man. I got to make some Let's Go, Brandon.
You do. You do.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
We need more of this here.
Great to meet you. And I wanted to let you know, lots of women were voting, even at the founding of the country.
They were. Because if you were a property owner, well,
yeah,
that you own property at first, so they had to, and then they took it away, and then they gave it back.
Yeah, when you mentioned, I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh yeah, I did, man. And
Sometimes
sometimes I forget to talk about it, but there was a point where black people voted and white people couldn't vote.
I don't know that one.
Well, no, because if you didn't own, property. So there was white people that didn't own property that couldn't vote, and black people who owned property that voted.
That makes sense.
Shake his hand for
all right, all that.
Brandon, he's running for office, so.
Inner Northeast Portland.
Yep.
I need a database of all you guys that are running, because me and my wife want to make a website.
Oh yeah.
So people know where to vote.
Well, you know what?
We could get something together. I'm sure we can
I can
figure
get
it out.
it.
Email me.
I'll
Turning Point people got you.
I will get, there's a bunch of candidates in Oregon who are totally going to bust through.
I'm going to pay to make that website. I want a website that's interactive that when people live in Oregon, they go, who do I vote for?
StandForHealthFreedom.com built that
I'll get it to you.
this year because I told
For
them
Oregon?
last year, the whole country,
Oh,
state
really?
by state by state. I will get you this info.
Give me that info.
Because you can get candidates, say do this, and then they'll know. The people will know because they vet them.
That's great. That's what we need to do because there's a whole bunch of frauds out here.
Exactly.
Oh. I just want to give you some back by your pants.
I know, dude. You have to, man.
You got it.
What?
They used to be sexy.
The pants? Did you say they used to be sexy?
They used to be sexy.
Before you get some lose, you're good. There's the ABC anti-ball crushing, so you can go all the way
Dude,
down.
I got some 7 jeans. I could pull them jeans out way out here, but they don't have the ones with the hole in the knee. And these used to be good.
These pre-cut or you yourself?
No, they just pre-cut. They came like this.
Just tell them you're bringing.
And they used to fit me real good, and then I got fat, and now they look like sausages in there.
Yo, B, just tell him you're bringing sexy back.
Yeah, I'm
just
trying.
yeah. There you go. See.
There's some more squats and whatever. Get
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, these friends of mine all the time.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate that.
Also, being off field, what's the new business you're starting? That's what I was saying.
Well, I got 5 of them. I mean, the energy drink company we just started.
It's like a drink or just a kill.
No, it's the best energy drink on the market. It's all organic, all natural. Yeah, it's
mostly essential.
We would have been out. It would have been out to market already, but the can prices went up, and then we tried. Now we got to do stick packs. Stick packs don't taste nothing like the liquid form.
What's the
Thank you, Michael Todd.
Good luck with that, man.
I'm sending it out to you. Best energy drink you ever tasted. All natural. Costs a lot of money to do organic product.
It's all about the name.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would love to try.
Taylor. Nice to meet you.
You got my book too.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Is it signed?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. I took a few.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the
Thanks
support.
for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Got the text this morning.
You said what?
I got the little text message.
Did you get there from the Tatum text?
Yeah.
That's good. I was gonna ask in the audience how many people found out this through the Tatum text, and if nobody did it, I'd have been embarrassed.
Yeah, that's how I found out. And I'm like, oh, good. You have tomorrow off. I'll just sleep in a little bit. Worth it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much again.
Yeah, we're on a grader. We've been up since 1. We're like, he doesn't come to Oregon all the time, so we're going out there.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to get you a hoodie, man.
Yeah.
You got the Hodge twin on.
I saw you go in there.
I don't want to have to beat nobody up in the White House. Yeah. Okay, you guys doing? What's your name? Chanel? Rhonda? Natalie?
He sets up air shows in the United States.
Air shows?
Okay, I was taking some lifestyle
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Come back to Oregon sometime when the sun's out.
Yeah, man, I was so depressed. We were driving from Seattle, and it's like, all it is just rain.
Exactly. I know.
Yeah, when is it beautiful here?
Come in like
July, August.
Go up to Mount Hood, go out to the beach. We will. We'll come back in the summer.
Beach, man. The beach.
Can I get a ride in a jet? I want to ride in a jet. Like somebody, it was a speaking engagement I went to, and they said, "Hey, you can also, get a ride in a jet." I know I had to lose weight, but how much your weight limit? 250, 200?
Yeah, there's something there. You'll fit. I think
I'm gonna weigh it down. Whole thing.
Oh yeah, we'll get you. Here you go.
Yeah, I would love to. That'd be great. Then I'll be the one passed out. Garrett. I see you, Garrett. Back to the lights. They just turn them off, or?
Yeah, no, you're good.
I thought I was ready to pass out. Lights are off.
Okay, one with the book out front too.
Oh yeah.
You want to show the awesome, and then tag him because he's trying to promote his book. This is why we went to, right? Awesome.
Probably 6'1". That's how tall he is. He might be 6'1". I unfortunately
I don't know why.
Unfortunately, guys, I can't claim 6 foot. Kind of sucks as a man not to be able to say that I'm 6 foot. I'm like 5'11". Seriously, it's one of those things. Like, really, God, you gave me 5'11". You couldn't even give me 6 foot.
That's great.
I'm like, just another inch. God wouldn't do it. I'm like 5'11". Can't even reach 6 foot. So he's probably like 6'1", in case you guys are asking.
G-A-R-E-T-T-E.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to watch him. Just he does it until every last one. No matter what, he'll take pictures with everybody, sign stuff, talk to people, all the way till everybody's gone. So that's pretty cool. A lot of people wouldn't do that. You know, people who have a name and stuff like that, they'd come in and go. They wouldn't take the time to be personal like he's doing. So that's pretty amazing.
Checked out. Work? Just get my kids out. I'm out of here before you have to go down there and choke somebody at school. Appreciate it.
No, I was just like, niggas showing up with all the way.
Been watching this for years now, so it's kind of fun to see it.
You're gonna always be her baby.
Yeah, I know.
She's gonna always remember taking those little stinky diapers.
got a pin?
I know. He's apparently a good kid. So.
He was pretty good.
Oh, my kid's crazy. So.
I had crazy ones too. I was tricked into the first one.
On the front or the back? Oh. Come on, this thing is weird.
There's another marker there.
Oh, that marker's gonna.
No good?
The one guy had a better marker, but. Should make it to you, the family.
Is there a sharp? Oh, you guys have a sharp?
Okay, that's it.
Wait. Oh.
No, it's not really working. Not too up. No.
I'm trying to find a Sharpie.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
The Sharpie
a
works.
better
It's
one.
just the table.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I was just like relating to like talking to the comment that I was thinking about during that question was that sometimes what you're saying to them is not for them.
Yeah, I guess why I argue people in the comment section. It's not really for the person arguing. It's so people can hear a balanced argument. That's a good thing. I should have mentioned that as well. Because sometimes it is worth going back and forth with people. Just to show other people who may be open-minded, sit back and hear it.
Well, I'm not the only one who thinks this.
Yeah. Or they hear something with like, I think the guy, hey, got a point. Yeah, God bless you. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, brother.
Hey, Brandon, will you do a quick signature on this? I'm gonna keep
You gotta
it.
give me a big marker.
There we go.
Yeah, that's one part. Where you want me to sign it?
Anywhere. Maybe right here. Under your name. Thank you.
God bless you, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for coming out.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm sorry I heard a boom back there.
Trouble now.
Yes, you guys. I'm in Oregon right now, in Tigard, Oregon, which is about 10 miles or less west of downtown Portland. It's not that far.
Got to a certain point or day where maybe blocking off your subscribers.
Thank you. Yeah. Don't forget.
You're like a plateau?
Yeah, dude. It was like maybe getting like shadow banned.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. They banned, they strike them.
Oh, did they?
I played a video Dr. Fauci saying that the mask don't work. And then I'm saying everybody has to wear masks. I didn't even really do a commentary. I said, see for yourself. It's confusing when they say this and say this. They strike me. Banned for 7 days for medical misinformation. And I have a liaison with YouTube, so which is good because I have over 1 million subscribers. I have a woman who I can message and say, hey, what happened? So what they wanted me to do is say the consensus is that you're supposed to wear a mask if they're effective. And they wouldn't did it, but they have a way of doing it. When I post about Trump now, I got a strike for Trump. I was watching his CPAC Is it called
You said a
CPAC?
live music rally.
CPAC, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
I don't even go to the thing anymore. So, but CPAC, I was playing a speech and I was commenting on it, like I do the State of Union address, all of that, and they banned it live, banned it because of misinformation. He was the president at the time, so it's like they do that a lot. They have shadow banned a lot of political channels.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed this recently. A lot of even companies are switching over to censoring. Have you guys talked about that on your show? What are the backup plans? Something that might go off the air or block off this?
We talk about it. There's other social media networks. Rumble is one.
Okay, you're on Rumble.
We post on Rumble as well. Also, I build an email list.
Good.
So I try to get people there just in case they ban me. Yeah, I'll be in trouble a little bit. I mean, because it can be instant.
Yeah, right. Or they could take you off. I just think like Google Play Store. I mean, they could just shut off.
But I'm black, so I'm serious. Like it seems like if I was white, they'll easily call me racist. But black people they don't do it as much as black conservatives. I think because they're so virtuous that they feel bad about disenfranchising black and brown bodies. It's like a hierarchy.
It's like, well, I was looking at a picture of like Mao and stuff. You know, we'll just delete you off history.
Yeah, you're out of the picture. They Photoshop you out.
Yeah, just take out all your history. We're never on YouTube.
Thank you, Free Speech Mom. Appreciate that very much. This is my backup channel, you guys, in case anybody is new to this channel. This is my backup one, my main YouTube channel, which has my second strike, is The Black Conservative Preacher.
They play like Huskies.
The Black Conservative Preacher is my main YouTube channel, 18,000 there. So if you guys are wondering, like, kind of like, why is the subscribers low? This is my backup when I'm in trouble. Still trying to grow it though. I'd still love to get everybody from the main channel over to here just to have them, balanced out and everything. But this is the backup channel. I'll be locked down. I get released this Friday that I can go live, but I have 2 strikes, and my first strike does not drop off until April 20th. So I may stay here at least until then.
Did he? I remember Nebraska recruited me.
They did.
They were the last team that I refused. And it came down to, I told them, they said.
I did hear him say that, only Mr. Bill. I heard him say that. I still haven't found that privilege yet because I'm shadow banned.
We played them in the bowl game. They beat us like 30-0.
Well, Pelini was coach, wasn't he?
I think so. Beat the great top.
Especially on Facebook. Facebook, people have told me so many times I'm like doing it live and they can't find me.
The U.S. Army All-American game, Marlon Lucky was there. Dominican Sue was there too. They were both in the West. And we beat the mess out of the East. We beat them like 30-3. And this is the battle of the top players in the nation. Deshaun Jackson was on our team. And all the dudes from Nebraska. Nebraska had like 5 dudes on the team.
They turned down the light. They didn't turn the light on.
I committed to Arizona, and then we sucked.
Look where you're at.
Yeah, it was meant to be. If I went to Nebraska, I would have been in the NFL. Okay?
Yeah, you would.
All right.
Who playing like?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh, y'all got to wrap it up? I feel like we're going to be on the side over here. Yes. It's funny I talked about that at the very beginning, but that's what it is. The lineage and the structure of God is the head of Christ. Christ is the head of the man. The head of the church. And the man is the head of the household. When we don't have Christ, we got stuff in the order. And there's a lot of. I was talking about feminist people. You only need a man.
He's prepared.
What's wrong with needing a man? My wife loves me. She doesn't want a man. All need to know people. But I know where I stand. I didn't know. We all wrong.
We didn't know Jesus would be in the comments. I don't know.
I'm a hot mess with Jesus. So imagine without Jesus. Messed up.
Want to do your little John Hancock here?
Yeah, sure. Where were you on there?
Right there. I still have to learn.
Oh, to work?
Yeah. Driving TriMet bus.
No. I know.
Where was that coming from?
My son, his mom lives in Seattle. He goes to school in Seattle, and I just went there today when we were driving down, and they released the mask mandates. The lady at the front wasn't even wearing a mask, and my son was wearing a mask. I'm gonna have to talk to his mama. I'm like, why is he wearing a mask?
Yeah, they released it here except for on the
government.
Well, I guess it was everywhere. Yeah, buses, planes, trains.
I have it down here.
Yeah,
they'll fire you if you do.
See, I got the
Yeah.
And I still got Omicron.
It's all bullcrap.
It is. All right, thanks.
Yeah, we're working together.
You got the YouTube channel too?
I do.
I've seen you a couple times.
Yeah.
A few times, more than a couple.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good job being here, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I could come on vacation. Otherwise, I'm always working.
All right. Yep. I get it. I get it.
All right.
Just in the book.
This man, Brandon, I called him the voice from the
That's right. That's right.
I like that. I like that.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Sorry I had you guys waiting so long. I've been gone for a week. It's like, wait, I appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. Sorry, got it. The camera's just not oppressive.
She took a bunch of pictures for you.
Oh, good. Good. I want that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you do for a living?
I'm a mom.
Your mom? She has a voice. I'm like, her voice so soothing. I'm like, I knew she had to do something.
I like when she reads books. She's always good at that.
You know, mom is one of the most powerful jobs to be. My wife stays at home with the baby, and it's hard work. People think it's easy. It's not easy, but it's so rewarding for your babies to have you there. And love you. Yeah, you make marvelous masterpieces. And they're emotionally stable. They have a lot of things because mom is there. This is what this sweet guy intended us to be. For our children to be raised by parents. Nobody really is there. Mama sacrificed a lot. You better do good.
I know.
You better do well.
She is.
All right.
Sorry, we have to be out of the building in 25 minutes. The alarm's going to go on. So
The devil is a lie. I'm playing. We can wrap it up in that time. I mean, who wants a picture that haven't gotten a picture yet?
Hey, right here.
Please.
Yeah.
Before I do a conversation or anything, please come and take a picture. What I should have did at the beginning was get all the pictures and then people who want to chat a little bit.
Let's go. You want to
get a picture?
You want to do one?
Sorry, y'all had to wait so long.
Oh, we understand.
Yes, general store.
I was like, who were you talking to?
Yeah, I did.
Let's go, Brandon. Come on now. Stage, man. I feel like people gonna fall off right now.
Where are you going?
Perfect. The lighting just for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, God bless.
Thank you, Brandon. It was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I'll post that up, you guys. Get that posted. So he's just trying to wrap this up. We gotta be out of here in a few minutes. So, Kesho. What's that, Kesho?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Kesho?
Brandon, I'm sorry. I talked to Greg.
Oh, Schumacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
He talks about how awesome.
That's why she
Yeah.
can
Every once in a while, you want to do kind of talk about things. And then Fridays around we go with Antifa a lot, so we're going to talk about that. There's a Saturday day too. We're going to do the days.
Are they trying to see things?
Are they going to stay tonight?
They have some sort of arrangement figured out.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going to be there in the afternoon, but it will be Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Right.
No, hopefully it's not.
Right.
I'm doing my best to work with the organizers that are, some of the regular organizers. So
Now, are they bringing the convoy? They're not bringing the convoy.
Change that crap that they do.
Good visuals.
Really?
I'm sure. Trackers, trucks. So I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, please do. I didn't know how to find out. First one, if they want to plan for it.
On the 19th.
Appreciate you. Get a good one.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, is that right?
Friday, Saturday, they could be there Sunday.
Yeah, let me read it. Okay?
Okay, man, beat me out after I talk. Got a squeeze too.
It was for the minute, but are we done now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not anymore. Just wrapping it up. We have
Nice
to
to see you.
Good to see you too.
Did you hear him running?
I believe I did hear that. Yes.
25th district.
So this one is the 25th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here. I'm excited.
Yeah? Looking forward to it?
Well,
Nervous?
I just
Butterflies? No,
I keep on reminding myself, like when I joined the Marine Corps.
I've thought about that stuff. But I'm like, man, I just don't know because, like, obviously, the further you climb up, I mean, even like him, and it don't matter once you become
That's not gonna work.
have a platform of whatever. You gotta be tough for the game.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
Marine Corps makes you tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Makes you smart too.
I'm gonna give you a call.
okay, please do. Please do. So, yep.
Cool.
Good. Well, we'll get you on and talk about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. I
Yeah.
really would.
Yeah. So.
We missed you the other night. We had like how many different companies there? It was for you and Kim, and then we had Tim. And,
Thanking God in advance for a victory. I think we had seven or eight candidates there.
And Ben was there, and I took some nice photos.
Thank you so much for all the work.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
Nice to talk to you.
Catch you later.
Yeah. So Ben's running.
Yeah, it was a
Against
good
Ron
time.
Wagner, I was giving him some stuff on Rob.
Yeah.
We didn't go into I said, this is going to be your angle.
Okay.
About for the kids piece and the education piece.
Yeah.
Rob Wagner messed up. He messed up when he was involved in the legacy of the school districts, and he messed up because in 2021 he introduced or was the signer for a vaccine mandate bill. It died in committee. And I'm sure he's glad it did now, because that would have been a big battle.
Right.
Okay, it's
So I told Ben.
Did they tell you when the Bible study is?
Some dirt.
Okay.
Not dirt, but
Yeah. Just stuff.
facts.
Well, people need to know the facts.
Right. Which, if they're dirty, they're not my facts. They're his. It's his fault
Yeah.
if they're not.
Well, dirty's subjective because there's people that would embrace him for
So
it.
that's true.
So if they want to get on, give them.
Kicking 60,000 kids plus
So-
out of a regular school into online school.
Well, I mean,
though,
yeah, depending. Well, yeah, I put it on my calendar.
That's not even one that the left is
The first and the second.
Yeah.
Is it the first and the second?
If they want to get on, give them Julie's number. If they want to get on the show,
Okay.
please. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm Tim.
Tim Quincy.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, Tim.
I'm running for House Rep, Inner Northeast Portland, District 43.
Inner Northeast NEP.
So I'm like some random dude that's tried dropping me text messages. My buddy Brian passed your number to me or something. and on Telegram and stuff. I just want to let you know this is who I am.
Okay.
And such, because you thought you might be a good resource and connected and stuff to maybe help me with what I'm trying to get done.
Yeah, I'll have you on and we'll do an interview, whatever, just get you some more exposure.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim is really solid. We've known Tim for a while. And he's in a difficult, Multnomah County.
I know, that's why I said NEP, Inner Northeast Portland, yeah.
Well, even amongst the Republicans, though, it's been a challenge, right?
I can only imagine.
That Multnomah Republican Party.
I know. I already know.
Wow.
Not gonna lie, they've been asking me about joining, and I'm like, I don't know, because what I saw when I was in Salem a couple weeks ago with Solomon Yu and some of those other folks, I was like,
well, this crowd, we had minutes from July. This is how just nonsensical it is. Minutes from July, meeting in July. The minutes got approved about a month ago.
Right.
And that's pretty much summed up the whole completion of what they've accomplished over the last 8 months, basically.
Yeah.
And they hand select PCPs, right? So they're like
ish. They're begrudgingly, it's.
Yeah, that's what they've been asking me. And I'm
some little social club that they're trying to protect or some craziness.
Yeah.
But we're getting ready to blow it all apart here in about 6 months.
So yeah, just the same thing. Just give them Julie's number. She'll arrange it.
Okay.
I almost missed this tonight because I was overbooked with something else. And I'm like, oh man. So yeah.
Well, this was a good spot to be.
Yeah.
And how much I didn't know God was going to be part of it, and how grateful I am that it was, because this is the kind of influential talk we need more young people to hear, and more people to hear.
Yeah.
To awaken back in them, there's reasons to fight, and how hard Jesus' fight was.
Right.
And that it wasn't popular.
Yeah. Yep.
And many of us, have been on unpopular talking points for years.
Yep.
You know what?
Yep. Gotta get out of here.
I gotta get
All right, you
see
guys.
you later.
Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Heather.
We're on a hook.
All right,
Yeah,
you have a good night.
I keep sending you
Thank
photos, so
All right, you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Been a good night. Good seeing you.
Tag you on certain things on social so that you
I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'll have that interview with me and Brandon. I mean, it wasn't really, like I said, it was just cool. You guys will see him off camera, off stage, not really in an official interview, just candid talk. I will get that posted. Just real talk. It'll be me and him just kind of shooting the breeze. So share it out. I will see you guys tomorrow night with a special governor or candidate who's running to be governor. So God bless you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Perfect.